Howdy, folks. Welcome to kind of a video audio chat version of Pubcast. We are using technology to like everyone else is at the moment, and we decided, you know what, fuck it. We haven't done one in a while. We need to do a proper, regular,
Oh, wow.
I was waiting for that one.
Computers are on the internet now.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, we are doing other things, obviously, and we are doing other stuff with Pubcast as a thing, but also we haven't done an actual Pubcast in a while. And we have been I uploaded over the last couple of weeks. I've uploaded some stuff that I found actually in the archives. Some old panels that I thought I'd lost recordings of, like so the Gates McFadden panel that went up on the Pubcast feed and a few others. So welcome to this special edition of Pubcast. As always, I'm Wayne.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Darren.
And we're going to chat for the next while, just talk shite, have a few beers, and just kind of just take it easy and, you know, enjoy each other's company. And hopefully you enjoy listening along. And I'm testing out some new equipment that I've got. So I've got a new microphone. So I don't know how I'm going to sound, whether I'm loud or the volume is down. I have to stand very close to the microphone and just whisper, you know, just do that type of talking.
You seem like you've gotten used to it now, because when we were doing D&D and we were recording, your voice was so crystal clear. Yeah. It was very soft, and I felt like as if you got louder, it would break or something, you know. And when I first seen it, it looked like a potato, and I was like, "Why is if Wayne finally cracked?" It just as I said, I don't have my glasses on when I looked, but yeah, you were very. Now I'm going to start thinking that you're talking into a potato for the entire time we're recording. But But you were very quiet and calm, and didn't want to spook.
He was. It was like he'd come back from war and seen unspeakable things, and I was like, "Can we help you?" So if anyone's watching on video, digging Wayne's snazzy background.
I'm so jealous.
It's very slimming, that TARDIS.
It is. See, it's you know what it is? It's my quarantine bod, but no, it's also the TARDIS thing is it's the Zoom background. So we're on Zoom doing this, and I'm melding into the TARDIS background. I do look like something out of the 80s Doctor Who at the moment, because I've got a TARDIS background as my Zoom background. And this literally is the BBC budget on Doctor Who. This right here.
Yeah, that's why we love it. That's why we love it.
And it's kind of cool. Like, but I keep vanishing in and out of the background. If I was to take the virtual background off, you just see my kitchen. And we still have. I don't know. I probably can't take it off on the video. I'll show it to you. Yeah, I can. Watch. So we still have. You can see. We still have a Christmas decal on the wall.
Nothing wrong with that.
And
nothing wrong with that at all.
It's a bit kind of sickly sardonic at the moment.
It is. So this is a throwback. The reason why we all have this and why Irene insists on keeping it on the wall is a throwback to the story of me having to wank into a cup. Throwback to a previous cup.
I never know we're going to start there. But
yeah, so that's what that is. That was the joke. We got that in a sale after we found out that Amelia was on the way. So it was in a Christmas sale in like Home Store and More or something. And we saw it. It was like €1. But Irene insisted on putting it up on the wall this Christmas, and it hasn't come down since. So it's been up there. So I decided I'll put the virtual background back.
Wayne, your clinic just called, and they've demanded that you stop calling your fertility treatment a wank in a cup. They've got their PR people too, you know.
I suppose if I'd gone the Elon Musk route, we could have called it, you know, Amelia that if we wanted to.
Do you know how that baby's name is pronounced?
Fucking haven't got a clue.
Strong password.
Oh,
so come here, Wayne. How have you been doing?
Good. I mean, all things considered, I haven't left the house in a long time, but because I'm high risk, I have chronic asthma, so I can't leave the house.
Oh shit.
But here's the thing, right? I fall into the category of I'm a gamer, and while I can be quite social, in my core, I'm very much an introvert.
Yeah.
And part of me is kind of okay with this in regards to staying in the house. Like, I'm all right to stay in the house because I've got enough here to fucking keep me occupied. I've got plenty of shit to keep me occupied.
You're kitted out. I remember watching you play Warcraft, and yes, not leaving the house for many days wouldn't have been a problem.
No.
Can I interrupt for a second and tell you, I am actually worried about my brother, because he actually subscribed to World of Warcraft again this week. We used to play that ages ago when we had nothing else to do. And I walked in on him, and it was if I walked in on him and he was wanking, because he had that look of shame, and there was World of Warcraft. Not that that's ever happened, man. No, but there was World of Warcraft on the computer.
Sock in the door, demon. Sock in the door.
And it was just like there was no sock, you know, but he still had that look of shame of like, don't look at me.
I have to say, earlier on today, I was doing a bit of writing, and I was listening to, it was actually released last year, I think it was some of the music for The War in Azeroth, which is the latest expansion for World of Warcraft. And I was listening to the soundtrack while I was writing.
Soundtracks are good.
No, but that's, you listen to, that's what I do anyway. I listen to orchestral soundtracks when I write. And I was listening to this, and it was the World of Warcraft one, and it was really fucking good. And I was thinking, you know what?
Well, guys, I am all about what it takes to survive. I'm gonna concentrate on you, Wayne. So is there anything that you've rooted out? You have more time, or you need to nurture your soul a bit?
Well, I mean, I'm still I'm working from home. I am still doing my regular day job. Yeah. So I've got my 9 to 5 per se, right? So I am working. I'm one of the very, very lucky few that can work from home. Right. And I have been doing that. So I have my 9 to 5 for a bit of stability, which has helped me a lot. But to answer your question, I have delved back into some old books, comics. Like I picked up a load of Dragonlance books.
I've seen that
ages ago, and then I actually had a gap in the. I had a load in the attic, and I went up in the attic and I took them down because I moved a bookshelf. Anyone that's watched the Pubcast D&D streams, if you look in the background of my kitchen, generally on the left-hand side feed, I have a large bookshelf that was full of books. And I really wanted to get rid of it out of the kitchen and make that space available for Amelia to play as a kind of a play area. So I said, you know what, that'll go really well in my office. So I'm going to move it upstairs, and I'm going to use it for all my books that I have in the attic. I can finally take them down and put them all up and read them, go through them systematically.
Right.
I eventually got around to it, and I found a box of old Dragonlance books that I had. And it was a trilogy that I've always wanted to finish and read. I read it years ago. I got a loan of the first and third book, and I owned the middle book for some reason. I don't know why I didn't own the other two. But I said, you know what? I'm going to fucking buy those 2 books online and get them delivered. And that's what I'll do. So I started in on that. And it's the twin series. So it's like the war, and it's the War of Twins or something. I can't remember the actual title.
Test of the Twins is one of them. I know that.
Test of the Twins win.
So long since I read them.
Yeah, they're really fucking good. Mm-hmm. I started in them, and like all the memories of reading this shit flooded back. I was like, oh, this is so good. It's great fantasy novels, and all set in the world of Dragonlance D&D type of thing. But I did that. That was one of the things I did. Also, myself and Irene have decided to have board game nights because we love board games, but we never played them at home. Woo! I've got a load of them up there. And because of that, I've managed to convince Irene to dip her toe, and this is the start of it, to dip her toe in the world of Dungeons and Dragons.
That's how it begins.
Next week we're going to play, because we played Jumanji the other night. It was a load of fun, but very, very quick, and we played about 6 or 7 games of it. But I have the Underdark board game from Dungeons and Dragons, and it's the villains of the Underdark, or there's a collection of different people from the Underdark storyline. So it's all these different villains that you kind of portray, and you do all this espionage stuff, and it's a big thing. Rather than doing like a quick 5-10 minute board game jobby, this is something that you sit down with the food and the drink and everything, and you do it for the entire night. So I've convinced, look, Irene, I know Jumanji was fun and everything, but you said you wanted to play something that's going to last a bit longer, and this definitely will. So do you want it? And she was like, okay, fair enough. So I kind of whittled her down to at least doing a Dungeons and Dragons board game, so that's fun.
Sweet.
Also, I've, like I just mentioned, I am writing more again. So
is it hard to write? Is it hard to write at the moment?
Yeah, I'm finding it very difficult to write. But I've taken solace in books. I've taken solace in video games, and I've said this before many a time to people that ask me about comic book writing and writing in general. You have to consume to create. Yeah. And I've consumed a lot over the last 2-3 weeks, and I'm starting to find that because I'm consuming more, my brain is taking over more now. I'm getting used to the kind of the environment that I'm in, and I'm kind of coming out of whatever writer's block I had, which I did have. And I've played a lot of video games as well. And I know we've all played a lot of video games over the last couple of weeks, because we've all picked up a metric fuck ton of new games dropped just as we were all being told, stay the fuck home.
It's as if they knew. It's as if they knew.
Yeah. But I mean, this time of year, generally there's sporadic release there's always kind of set release dates, but then the sporadic surprise releases as well. But everyone knew that Doom Eternal was coming out. Everyone knew that Animal Crossing was coming out. For the last 6 months, myself and Stephen Mooney, Jamie T, and Adam Kelly have been playing Divinity 2 on the PlayStation, which is pretty much Dungeons and Dragons in a video game. It's the closest thing you're going to get to a multiplayer online functioning, apart from the obvious will Neverwinter game. But this is like on the PS4 that is like so in-depth and huge. And we've been playing this solid for the last 6 months.
And you're still not done it? You're still not finished it?
Oh, no, still not finished it. No.
That's a big game, so I know my brother has it.
I think we're close to the end. We're not far off the end. We're getting there. But it's taken us 6 months, and we do like sometimes we do two nights a week. Thursdays for every Thursday is the night we play that. And I like without a shadow of a doubt, those constant weekly sessions of just getting online, playing games, and being able to do that. I think it's anyone that's doing it, it's helping them immensely. But gamers have anything, that,
anything timetabled in your week, like having any place you have to be, especially when you're not doing a day job, when you're just like, oh my God. I mean, I'm a stay-at-home parent mostly. I work 1 day a week in normal times, just so my entire industry doesn't move on without me. And so I haven't had too much of an adjustment. And as you probably tell by the quality of my internet, why I'm not going to have a background, I'm pretty rural. So again, not too much trouble staying isolated from people. But like it is just the lack of what day is it? What is happening? Am I getting dressed today? Do we have?
Do you not get reminded every day when you log on to Animal Crossing? Do you not get Isabel telling you today is such a day, and fuck all that's happening, but this is the shit I'm reading.
I'm gonna push you back. I'm gonna push you back on this till later when we will go in on Animal Crossing, but I haven't earned Isabel yet.
Oh,
so start for me because I only got the game. We were like starting to hit the doldrums, and I said, Andrew, I know something that's gonna help. You mind if I drop 60 blips on more chores for myself? And he's like, no, and it's just he's endlessly entertained by this. But yeah, so like having anything that you have to do, and especially when it's other people, and I'd say the boys appreciate it too, do they?
Oh yeah, I mean totally. I mean it's something that we can every Thursday we definitely can rely on doing it, and it's there. There's been very few Thursdays where like somebody's turning us, look, I can't make it, because where the fuck else are we going to be? But
might be making the tea, but that's it.
That's it. Like, I mean, but it's like we log on 9:30 on a Thursday evening, and off we go questing and fighting the big bads, and like it's very cathartic. It's very fun, and it's a social aspect. It's I think everyone has become. Is it maybe I don't know, maybe it's just me, but has everyone else become more social because of this current situation? As in, we're being more social online as a species than we ever were when we were told you weren't allowed to be. You weren't, before someone told us don't go outside and don't talk to people in person. All of a sudden, everyone's on fucking line on Zoom chats.
Jesus Christ,
it's like everything. Like it's weird.
Yeah,
I've done more.
Go on ahead, Darren.
Oh, sorry. It's kind of like what Wayne was saying about like this. In one way, it feels like a Tuesday because like I tend to do like all my hobbies are kind of you spend a lot of time on your own, building them and painting them and whatnot, and then you go and you socialize, So like one day a week I will see mates to play games and whatnot like in town, but then the other times I'm at home building and painting and whatnot, and so in that regard I'm like I'm lucky like Wayne. It's like I'm working from home, so when 4 o'clock 5 o'clock hits, I go downstairs and I start painting again, which I normally do.
Oh, you're still working, Kaz? I didn't know.
Oh, I'm out. Like nothing's ever stopped. It's just that we were kind of one of the last people.
Last ones, yeah.
And it was funny. We were just starting the trial of working from home, and then Monday I was at home saying this is weird, and then I got the call saying your building's closed. You'll be working from home from now on, and I was like, oh, okay, this is weird. But yeah, but the once it was great. I don't have the hour commute was the only kind of weird difference. That as soon as I got home, I'd go downstairs and start building or gluing stuff or whatnot. But I felt like, and then the gaming aspect. I'm playing in the Fallout 76. It's a game that wasn't that great back in the day, but now they've added NPCs. But a bunch of my friends have now started coming on to play it because they're Fallout fans, but also for the chat. We would be playing and chatting.
That's nice.
It's weird that like this week alone I've been on 3 times I've been social with groups of people. Whereas if I look back at when we had the option to go to the pub and whatnot, it would be like it's the more socializing when we've been told not to indoors using technology than when we were able to go to a pub or meet up and whatnot. I'm hoping it continues when all this weird stuff goes away,
and
that we will continue to do it because it's great. I think you can I think it's a great thing. It's great that we have it.
Surprising absolutely nobody. I'm quite conscious of the environment, and I'm looking now at the setups and going, do you really want people going an hour down the M50 every day for the same shit? Like, it's kind of show. And there's people who have who are high functioning disabled and things like that are being forced to go into jobs, and now they can't, and now it's fine to work from home, and you're just kind of going and you wonder when they see how much they're saving on electricity and building security and stuff like that, you wonder how many people are going to be going back to offices. It's been interesting. And we saw the kaiju returning to the canals, hashtag we are the virus, I saw a plesiosaur in the Liffey. I mean, it's been amazing. But I just I'm kind of
seen something in the Liffey. That's awesome as well. It's so clear.
Getting people in. I mean, Wayne, our lovely friend Matthew, who definitely was on a different diurnal cycle than every other human. And I remember him just going, why am I going in here for 9 o'clock in the morning? Am I a fucking farmer? Why do I have to do this?
Yeah.
I'm going into work on a computer. Why in the morning time? Why at the same time as everyone else? And I think there's going to be quite a lot of that. But I love what's happening now is the things people have to do is just falling out of them. So musicians have to perform. They have to. They're doing it at home because they have to. Not for maybe for their audience, but mostly it's because this is what I do. This is my life. I can't just all of a sudden stop doing it. And nerds are nerding, and people are finding a way to drink together, and people are finding a way to, and it's just excellent. Hey Wayne, in your boy group, who is the most foolhardy when it comes to an encounter? Who goes in there swinging?
Leroy Jenkins.
See, here's the thing: the person that does that most shouldn't be fucking doing it because he's the healer. But
oh God, he's a tank.
Funnily enough, Adam is the person that would do it most. And I'll tell you, it's the only happened on Thursday, right? And he'll probably fucking kill. And he might not kill me for this. He finds the funny in it, I guess. But what happened was we'd just done a massive quest line. We'd finished a big quest line, and we found this big bad. We'd taken him down. It was a big scrap. 2 of our party had actually died, and we had to res them. I was one of them. We had to res them. Very, very rare that would generally happen. But it happened because I was right in the thick of it. And there's all these different mechanics in the game. It's a brilliant game. Highly recommend anyone that loves a good RPG to seek out Divinity 2 if they haven't. Most people that love RPG games do know what Divinity 2 is. They've played it.
Right,
If you've never heard of it or if you've never played it, Divinity 2 is fucking unreal. But it's a great group game, but it's also a very good single game, and it's now available on the Switch even. That's how good I have it. I have it on the PC, I have it on the PS4, and I have it on the fucking Switch. That's how much I like the game.
Oh my God.
So this big scrap happens. Takes us a while to take down a group of dudes and a big bad. Kill the big bad, kill all the dudes. We're like, great, loot the fucking place, like clear it out. Find a load of treasure, do all this stuff. Then we go back to where we hand in the quest. We hand in the quest, and we're all chatting away, and then all of a sudden Adam decides to try a new spell that he's gotten.
Uh-oh.
And this spell is an AoE attack, so it's an area effect attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's basically, he calls down this thunderstorm that attacks everyone in the vicinity, including the NPCs that we're handing in the quest to. And we handed in the quest, and we got this. I think they give out rewards, and you get a choice of one of 4 rewards, along with some other stuff. And each of the 4 rewards that you choose from is generally matching the class of each character in the group. And we all kind of pick and choose what we want when it comes to certain rewards. And this particular one was Jamie had this it was a really nice big fuck off sword, because Jamie's a 2-handed ass kicking dwarf in this, right? Yeah. He's 2-handed ass kicking dwarf. And this sword gets rolled up, and Mooney is picking out the prizes, and he's like, Jamie, there's a sword here. It's got your name all over it. He's like, yeah, gives that. Got the sword just as Adam did the thing. And all of these, we're in this kind of like giant elf tree, and all these elves decide, well, fuck you guys, and attack us all. So we're like, lads, reload. Now, the thing about Divinity 2, one of its many cons, as much as it's got a lot of pros, is that only one person can host a game of 4. So whoever hosts the game, they have to be present to save the game, and also present to be able to play the game. So, for example, tonight we would have been going online after we would have done this, but Adam can't. So Adam is in charge of the save file.
Oh, okay.
So he's in charge of saving the game whenever we do something big. Straight afterwards, he's meant to save the game.
Gotcha.
Right.
When Adam loaded the game back up, after us saying, Adam, reload, we were missing a huge chunk of time. Now, thankfully, he saved after the big bad boss fight. Okay?
Thank Christ.
So you didn't have to do that again.
We didn't have to do that again, but there was a load of other shit that we did after that, plus another smaller fight that was a piece of piss, and we just bitch slapped
Was
that
he
person.
doing the quick save, the horrible quick save thing?
It was a quick save, yes, but the quick save, it saves and we're grand, but he forgot to save it after we'd done a load of shit, and whatever way the weapons are generated when you hand in the quest, when we went back to hand in the quest,
random,
Jamie's sword was gone.
No.
So Adam was lambasted for this, because 1, he should have saved it, but 2, he knew, like, don't do an AoE spell around a bunch of fucking NPCs, because they're all going to turn on you if they get hit. So, you know, we all
learned. An NPC put the weapon away. I always do it in Dark Souls.
What was that, Kate? Yeah.
You were only attacked because he did it, not because he wasn't using it to protect you from all the NPCs.
No. He was doing it because he just got a new spell and he wanted to test it out, and he decided to test it out in a highly populated area. So he basically set off basically a huge EMP pulse in a highly populated area, and all the people that were in that area were like, "Here, what are you doing?" And then went, "Fuck yous." So
yeah, he's gonna have to sign the Sokovia Accords after that.
Yes, so
more of that,
and that's our healer.
Tank healer, fair play. You know, war priest.
No, but he's not a tank healer. He's not a war priest. He's as squishy as they come, and it was like the 2 heavy hitters in the group was me and Jamie, but Mooney's a rogue, as always. Mooney is always a fucking a female rogue.
You set him up with codeine.
Well, funnily enough,
would they get on?
Probably, and I think, you know, make a point that probably, but Mooney always plays a rogue, a female rogue, always, no matter what. That's his character class, you know, has to be that. But his rogue is badass. She does a lot of DPS, huge damage, because rogues in Divinity are done really, really well.
Right.
I'm a dragon kin, kind of necromancer, pyromaniac. That's my character in that game. And Jamie is basically a fucking 2-handed beer swigging dwarf who just kicks the bollocks out of everything.
Right.
And then Adam is the kind of a cleric type character who has a lot of damage spells. He can summon a big demon to fight on his side, but he's meant to be the healer. We had a saying earlier.
I can see why you did it though. Like, if you're healing the party, you know, and you suddenly get a big huge red button, you're gonna like, oh, what's the worst?
Don't you defend him, Darren? Don't you defend him? He did wrong. He shouldn't have done.
I'm just kind of just in case I might do something, you know, as crazy down the line. I'm just right. You know. But because I wouldn't think in a game like that if you did the big spell that the NPCs would be affected.
Oh no, Divinity is a no holds barred. It does not hold your hand. It's sometimes you kind of like you land in a section of the game, you're like, what the fuck am I meant to do here? Like it's one of the best games I've seen that has got that old school mentality where like, we are not going to hold your hand in this section.
Right.
Put you in this world. and you have to figure out what you want to do. You have to figure out how you want to take the game. You can go down the hero route, but that's going to be much harder than going down the I'm going to kill everything route. Like, it gives you all these options, and that's, you could play the game multiple times, and it will not be the same game every time. And you can play it with multiple different people. And also, this is beautiful. The PC version of the game has a dungeon master mode that lets you build a Dungeons and Dragons style world and DM the game to other players. So you can be the DM in the game. You create your map. You do all of this in game using the game mechanics, and then 4 of the players jump into your game, and you then DM them through the universe. There's videos, loads of videos of it on YouTube, and I've never had the chance to do the PC version that way. It's not available on the Switch, obviously, and it's definitely not available on the PS4. But the PC version has this Dungeon Master mechanic in it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Larian Games is the company that make it, and they've heart and soul literally in the fucking game. Like,
it's so obvious when they're made like that, isn't it? Isn't it so obvious with a game how much love is put into something?
Yeah, big time.
You're very lucky, Wayne, that you got to reload it, because when I used to play games, I used to not worry about like what would happen, because you could always reload it, until I started playing the Dark Souls games, and they're very, like, Dark Souls are, well, actually, compared to the game I'm playing now, they're pretty easy. But one thing about the Dark Souls game is, if you accidentally kill a shop vendor or an NPC, well, if you don't kill them, they'll attack you.
How would you do that, Darren?
Well, you see, this is what I was saying. It's like, I always put the weapon away before I press the button to talk to them. But you could be talking away and you accidentally hit the wrong button, and it's your attack button. And what happened once is I wanted to go to the bathroom. So I put the remote control on the bed. It hit the pillow, hit the button that strikes, and when I came back, my character was dead. I respawned, and the vendor attacked me. I'm like, what the fuck? Logged off, reloaded. He attacked me again, and I researched that in Dark Souls, if you attack people, they become enemies. They will always be enemies until you kill them. And certain people, if you kill, you can't go on, and you have to go back to the very beginning and start all over again. If you were to do that, if it was a real game, and you kill the person that was meant to help you, will quest over, But so that's why I wouldn't do an area effect in a village, just in case.
Yeah, no, and Divinity is a very unforgiving game that way. And again, like that, it's got elements of it that if you kill a particular person in the game at the wrong time, quest lines that are in the game, all of a sudden they're in your journal for being quests. You go back to your journal because you killed the wrong person. All of those quest lines are going closed.
Oh,
You've basically negated a whole section of the game that you're not going to see because you've done the wrong thing. And in that point, then you reload and you don't kill them.
You're lucky, yeah.
But it's difficult at times that not knowing, because the type of game is, you don't know what direction you're going to go in. But yeah, that's one of the main things that has definitely helped me in this current situation that we all find ourselves in, is that having that kind of, and the same thing with we outside of anyone that doesn't know this, obviously, and we're not going to talk about it in great length here, because if you're watching our Pubcast D&D game, you're watching it, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And we greatly appreciate you doing it. And if you want to watch it, it's up on YouTube. Follow us, great. But we're also doing our personal weekly D&D game, our own individual one that we're doing in the world of Critical Role. So in the Wildmount adventure book that came out, the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, which I bought.
Good.
So much fun. And I amazingly realized the universe. And as you can tell from my attire, anyone that's watching this, I'm literally decked out in Critical Role gear. I only realized this as I jumped on the feed, that I'm wearing a fucking Critical Role t-shirt and a Critical Role baseball cap at the same time.
Yeah, Heidi Klum is going to tell you you're matchy.
So yeah.
Spaceman on your...
No,
like,
it's a bear. So so this cap is based on the first campaign in Critical Role, and this t-shirt is based on the second campaign in Critical Role. Right. So yeah, that's Taldore. It's in the same world, but it's a different continent. There's 2 books available, and Taldore is the first one, and then Wildmount, when we were playing our individual game, is separate. But our individual personal game that we're playing, that I'm DMing and all the guys are playing, is so much fun. And again, to do that on a weekly basis, it is a lot. And having the thing about it is as well, the technology has helped. Having the technology to do this and being able to do it a weekly game online with your friends. I think if we were 10 years ago when this hit, it would have been
nothing. Like, you can't play D&D on the phone.
No.
We've been sending letters to each other, which has come back as well. Of like, I'm going to do this, and waiting a week to find out. And
but no, but like if you go back 10 years, you're looking at like you'd have online forums, you'd have Skype and stuff like that, but there isn't the backbone of doing like we use D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
And highly recommend D&D Beyond for anyone that's looking, because they have, and this is another thing as well that a lot of kind of, I want to say nerd companies, but a lot of companies have put out there is free content for this current situation for people to keep you entertained.
If only the governments of the world had responded as efficiently as the game companies have in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to see what's going on. I don't know if you still log into Pokemon Go, Wayne. But Pokemon Go can't happen because you need to be going from place to place. You need to be, so they just changed it. So it takes half the distance to do whatever. You can send your buddy out to spin a Pokestop because you can't go there yourself.
Can you? Because I did go back onto it there only last week, and I realized that I was out of Pokeballs. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do now? I can send my buddy.
First of all, you send my ass a friend request, and
I think I am friends.
Get that sorted out. But and what's happening is your buddy just ends up with 5 gifts from Pokestops that you didn't do anything for. They've been putting a bonus box in the shop for 1 coin every day, which has different things. So balls, lures, incense. They're really fucking stepping up.
That just sounds. I mean, my double entendre disease kicked in there, so a bonus box.
Innuendo.
Look,
extra balls.
It's the Pubcast.
Yeah.
Extra balls, extra lures, the whole lot. So, if everybody responded, and when I was looking, it's the first time. When we started playing D&D with you, me and Jill were complete noobs, and we wanted our character sheets.
Yeah.
And the pros, Tom and Naomi and Ryan, were using D&D Beyond on their tablets, and Darren was kind of doing.
I'm old school, so even though we were using technology, I was like, no, I need, and I've written out my for the relaxing game. Girk's written out now, not properly, but it's weird. I know the technology is there, and I know it's useful, but I will gladly have character sheet in front and roll dice than digital.
Yeah, so that's fine. And that's what we did. We
Mhm.
found that easier because when we were looking at D&D Beyond, it was fine, but it was kind of hard to navigate. Honest to God, in 1 year, it has gone from impossible to use to it will do everything. And all I'm doing is writing down story elements. Like, I can't believe how well the virtual dice works, mostly. And
mostly. A lot of
I can't do anything about the rolls. But
it did it well.
And the sections, click for beginners everywhere. They're really making it so accessible. But because D&D is like D&D and board games that are hard, like proper board games, everything outside of Monopoly, it's really like drugs. You need to know who has them and who knows how to use them, and you need to be in their company when it's happening. And it really makes it so accessible. I'm so impressed with them. I'm so impressed with that website. It's so good.
I can't believe we're playing a year. Gee, it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah. It's gone by but like the wink of an eye. Hey Wayne, remember me years ago? What would I have told you if you turned around and told me I was going to end up playing 2 separate D&D campaigns?
I mean, look, it wasn't beyond the realm of possibility all those years ago because of the company that you kept. I mean, the people, everyone around you, we all played Dungeons and Dragons back then. So, I mean, it was a case of, like, you would have eventually fell into it through osmosis in some degree. And
well, you see, I told you the reason I found it, I didn't find it very inclusive because I was playing with, I was around some real fucking, like, savants of D&D. Like, Brian would have never had to check stats of anything. He never would have had to look up a spell. Like, it was that way. So I couldn't see the workings. So
my brain storage is good, but it's not that fucking good.
No,
I don't like. I mean, I know
nobody's is.
No, so like that's why I need the books, and that's why I need the rules. But that, not that I fucking use them, but like the rules. I mean, but look, I think right now it's showing the game companies, the online kind of like video chat companies, all these different companies that are coming out and offering kind of free.
Pornhub, shout out to Pornhub, stepping up when people need it.
Pornhub giving it, what did they give? They gave them one free or something?
Hey, they gave countries under quarantine premium access for free.
You can't ask any more than that.
When I get a minute alone,
that keeps on giving.
When I get 20 minutes alone, I go upstairs with my phone. I'm on fucking shitty websites selling terrible 50s flicky frocks that I'll never be able to wear to anything. That's my pornography. You know, dresses for no function.
Pornhub is a different type of flicky thing altogether.
Yeah, it is a different kind of flicky thing.
Yeah, a completely different kind of flicky thing.
But yeah, so we're going to take a minute silence for Pornhub, I think. Didn't we agree with that? Yeah.
Here's the Pornhub. Fair play.
Cheers, lads.
I know, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, I found, and this is the complete. Well, maybe it isn't. I'm not gonna turn my nose up at porn, because fuck it. Like, you know, people put a lot of work into that. But
they do.
You know,
one of the few industries where women make more than men.
Yeah, sex workers are real workers. But on the other end of it, then there was I'm kind of subscribed to a couple of different streaming services, and one of them is one of them is a theater streaming service from the UK called Marquee, right? And it streams like, and Irene likes it as well because it's got the ballet and stuff like that. But it shows a lot of like old school Shakespearean renditions. So you have back in, I think at one point they had a run of all the Ian McKellen kind of runs, and his run on Hamlet is just like.
Did he have his cock out?
I can't remember. Don't think so. Actually, no. It's his run on Macbeth. His soliloquy on Macbeth. I'm getting a bit too fucking hoity-toity for this, but a load of the theatre sites and National Theatre in London or in England live, they all put up a load of free stuff online.
They did
on YouTube. You had the two renditions of Danny Boyle's Frankenstein, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Johnny Lee Miller, who switched the roles over 2 nights, and it ran for a week on YouTube. It's now gone off YouTube. It's now Anthony Cleopatra starring Sophia Kundo and Ralph Fiennes, or Ray Fiennes, or how do you want to call him.
I actually watched the Frankenstein one. I watched
it's fantastic.
It was brilliant. I watched Benedict as the Frankenstein, and I can't remember the other guy's name as the monster.
Johnny Lee Miller.
Johnny Lee, I should do, because they're both Sherlocks.
They both played
Johnny
Sherlock,
Lee Mirror, I found, was awesome because it was all new. I watched that one first, and when it came to watch the roles reversed and Benedict as the monster, I was weird. I just couldn't get him as the monster. I didn't watch it. But I watched the first one. I thought it was awesome. But it's kind of, I'm wondering now if I would have watched it the other way the first time, would I have been like, no, you can't do it justice, you know?
That's what people really like cool. With Star Wars films. They're like, they're the ones I saw. There's prequel apologists out there that don't know what a real film looks like, and it's just sad. It's the same with everybody. It's the same. That's my favorite one. Roger Moore is the best James Bond. You're like, sure, Jan. But there's an argument to be made.
Yeah,
it's great to see. It's great that they're doing it. Like,
the new theatre in Dublin is doing a lot of their actors are literally working from home. They're literally having actors do soliloquies, poems, readings from the kitchen, and it's all for free.
The Abbey did that as well. The Abbey had a Dear Ireland thing where they got a lot of poets and writers and artists and stuff like that to do kind of like poetry readings, just kind of like just talks and stuff. Blind Boy was involved in one of them as well for the Abbey. I think they did it on the second or third night.
It was. I mean, artists in this country are the last people that can afford to be doing shit for free, but they also have a higher mind, kind of, you know, they understand what kind of nutrition the soul needs at times like this, and I really appreciate it. And
that's obviously we have to give a big shout out to Will Sliney for that particular situation. For all the shit that he's doing, because he basically went above and beyond and has now become the new Don Conroy. I think he's part of the new kind of school programming that's on RTE now for kids. But
he's in the homeschool hub.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Moon Torre. Tell you what though, one of the Moon Torres had a pair of grey tracky bums on the other day, and I'm like,
hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
well, they have to put something in there for the parents, you know, mammies and daddies.
Yeah, because Daddy Pig isn't cutting it anymore, lads.
He lost his appeal a long time ago.
Poor Daddy Pig.
Yeah, but I think that's the beautiful thing is that like there is a lot of stuff that's come out. But that being said, what have you guys been doing? Because y'all asked me what I was doing, and then we kind of went off on a usual tangent. So
look, it's the Pubcast, it's the law.
yeah, D-Man, what have you been up to?
It's same old, but I realized that I do a lot. I'm doing a lot more painting than normal, but not just like obviously everyone knows I play 40K and I paint a lot of models of that, but I'm painting a lot of models for Fallout. For there's a game called Fallout. God, can I remember the name? Urban Warfare. No, not Urban Warfare. I'll remember as I talk. But the reason I'm doing it is because it has rules for solo play. So it's got these great rules for whoever you're going up against. You have AI cards and you just follow them. So you're not really playing with yourself, but you are. So I've been painting up a lot of the
Cheers,
Fallout. Fallout 4 models.
I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it.
Institute, if you remember.
Fallout work is real work.
I've been painting up a lot of them. Like the last while, especially like yesterday, I was painting all day. But and it's great. It's so relaxing. And like I'm listening to you. I finally subscribed to Audible. So
man.
Yeah. Oh God, once you get on that, it's scary. The amount of like, I'll just get one more book, you know. But but listening to while I jog and while I paint, I've been listening to the Wheel of Time because it's something that I started when I was 19 and I read 4 books. Then kind of 3 times I attempted book 5, and then I just gave up. And now I'm listening to book 5.
How did the writer? Then he died.
Yeah, I remember that, but I was just like, la, don't tell me, I'm still on book 5. But I'm halfway through book 5 now, so it's because it's something I really wanted to do, you know, like get them all done and see how it ends. Because it was weird because back then we were actually involved in a D&D Wheel of Time game, and the DM in question, Garrett, was big into it, and I had never read any of the books yet. The character I was playing was pretty much the main character, and I had one guy. There's always one guy who started going, "Oh yeah, great idea for a character," and I'm like, "What are you on about?" And it's like, "That's the main guy," and I was like, "I haven't read the fucking books. I'm just doing this because it seems like fun." But then I started reading them, and it was just like, and doing the game was awesome. So that's why I was like, you know what, I gotta get back into the book. So halfway through book 5, which is great. Have a lot of Forgotten Realms books with Drizzt Do'Urden that I want to listen to. It's weird that the second book I pick is 36 hours long, you know, whereas all the other books I have ready to go are 10. I should have started with the small ones and then done the big one, but well, I'm halfway through it now.
I will say that, D-Man, actually at the moment there's a humble bundle for all of the Drizzt Legend, the entire thing. I think you get it for like $15 and you get the entire legend. I bought it. I got it. I was like, I have a few of them physically, don't have them all, but it's all of them available.
I have the first 20.
Yeah, but it's literally all of them, and it's like I got them off for 15 quid in ebook form. So I have them on my my reading tablet here.
Hey Darren.
Yeah.
You know that now's not the time for, you know, bitchiness or, you know, judging or, you know, that kind of thing.
Right. I don't have my beard, but I'm going to pretend I do to contemplate where this is going.
Very good. When you're finished all those audiobooks, do you know how many books you'll have read?
None, because I've listened to them.
No, you read 4. Didn't you read 4?
Yeah, yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know it's cheating in a way.
Yeah, it's
but
like
I'll have the knowledge.
It's an entirely new experience. We can't say you read them.
It's always gonna be that I've read them, and then when someone will go on Audible, and I'll be like, yeah. Then you listen to them, and I'm like, screw you, hippie. It goes back to when I was having a conversation with this person that had all the comics, and he was just like, oh, I got them all the X-Men. I was like, oh, really? Geez, that must take up a lot of space. I was like, oh, no, they're on me phone. They're digital. And I was like, so they don't exist.
Boo.
And I was like, what do you mean they don't exist? Well, they're not there. If you can't hold them or touch them, they're not real. I broke the guy. Can't remember who it was, but I broke him. So
bring it back to Pornhub. Stanley said that. He says comic books are like boobs. It's always better when they're in your hands. You know.
Yeah.
Not like the real physical thing.
So.
Lads, but if before you die, you have to listen to Alan Partridge's second autobiography read by Alan Partridge.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I watched just before
we need to talk about Alan.
His recent TV show, Jesus Christ, he hasn't changed. It's still cringe-worthy shit.
But it's getting even better, Daz. Like,
oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
it
but
was,
like he doesn't have to put on as much makeup to make himself look old, but he's still cringe to me. Like, I love cringe comedy, but I do have to kind of pause it for a second and walk away going, oh my God, did he just say that to her? Like, oh, it's cringe-worthy, but it's great. It's comedy gold, but you know,
he's too real.
Yeah,
that famous one where he did. He had his Irish lookalike on, and he sang "Come Out You Black and Tans" on BBC television. Like, which is like,
got away with it.
Fuck,
he's amazing.
Like, how?
He's
amazing.
And
Partridge is very, very proud of his Irish heritage because he does have Irish family. His mother is Irish, I think. And he was very proud of that, being able to get away with it. But it's like, how the fuck did he do that?
Because
I watched it recently. It was very well done.
100%. So no matter what he's doing,
Yeah, big time. It's just like that video went like on Irish, like for Irish people on social media. The video of that version of Alan Partridge or the lookalike with the weird fucking singing.
That was great though.
Hands go out and fight me like you man. And just the look on Partridge's face was just unbelievable.
Brilliant.
And I have the movie in there. Me and Irene watched it. I got it on Blu-ray.
Alpha Papa.
I watched
it in the cinemas when we had those things.
I have it, and it's
Me too, Daz.
Irene's not the biggest Alan Partridge fan, and we did watch it, and I didn't realize I avoided it in the cinema. Hadn't seen the trailer. I actually picked it up when HMV was closing down. I got it for like €2 or something on Blu-ray.
Right.
And I was like, €2. I'm not going to sneeze at it. And it's Alan Partridge.
Great.
I got it home and I didn't know Colin Meaney was in it until I threw it on. I was like, and so that was a bit of fun. It was a fun movie. It was enjoyable.
It's excellent. Yeah, it's an action movie.
Yeah. It's basically Die Hard on the radio station. That's what it is.
Pretty much with Alan Partridge.
Die Hard in Orange.
Yeah. So it was quite enjoyable. Do you are any of you, have you been catching up on, because that's the gas thing. People are saying, you've got so much time, you can do so many things. And it's have you watched, I personally don't have a hell of a lot of time because I'm still
because you've still got your full-time job.
Yeah.
And I have, and so does Darren, and I have the Waynes during the day, so there's only so much.
For anyone that doesn't understand what that word means, not me, she has children. All children.
WEANS.
Secrets out, Wayne. They've been looks after you when you're working.
There's small collections of me in homes all around Ireland. It's
a Nordy expression. So there's only so much. The other thing is, this is not the time. Please, if anyone's listening to this and disagrees with me, I would love to talk about this because I genuinely want to get other people's opinion. This is not the time to start a prestige show.
No. Because
one thing that's happening is we're having our bandwidth drained with vigilance that we didn't used to have to get. Now, if you're a woman, you're used to kind of keeping your eye out. But now it's men have to do it too, and everybody has to do it, and it's just, and everybody's wary of everyone and whatever.
Yeah.
So now is not the time where you just sit down in the evening well rested and ready to be challenged.
Nope.
So what has been going on here is non-stop audio-visual comfort food. But I have to tell you one of the most embarrassing things.
Hang on. Let me just grab another beer and I'll be right back.
Oh, I'll do that while you're doing it.
Yeah, let's do
Beer
break.
No.
I had to laugh as well. We're back in the room, but it was real funny. It was just again to throw back to the Pornhub thing when Kim very blatantly and obviously just not even giving a fuck was like, Pornhub gave away free porn for a month, and me and Darren both at the same time was like, Pornhub did what? No, I've no idea what you're talking about. We've no idea what you're talking about. We've never heard that. That wouldn't interest us at all. That's outside of our wheelhouse. We were reading the Bible the entire time.
Look, sexism hurts everybody. Women can talk about being careful, careful and discerning consumers of pornography and men we just presume you're all mucky pups and
we all just get nervous and go, oh, what are you on about?
Yeah, it's like men are, I think that's what I think. I think women have more sexual freedom I think themselves individually most of the time. I think more women are more willing to talk about it than men are, I think.
Yes, and it's not fair because like no, I am.
Oh, most women that I know are more than happy to have
most women that you know, Wayne.
Yeah, most women that
you
I know.
Quite a large number of enlightened people, but there's still like my niece was here. She was too old to be doing this, and she was still incredibly shy about things and calling things lady gardens because her mom was mortified. And I'm like, yeah, so it's still there.
Kim, what did you were about to tell us a story when we went to get beer?
Yeah. So imagine someone turns around to you and goes, "Oh my God, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger," and you're like, "Oh my God, yeah, I think Commando's probably my favorite." What? Have you not seen Commando? No. You seen Predator? No. So that was me, because one of my favorite comedians on the planet was Ben Schwartz.
Yeah.
And I love his improv, and I love all his appearances on Comedy Bang Bang. And then I mentioned Ben Schwartz to someone, and they went, "Oh yeah." And they mentioned the thing that literally everybody else knows him from. Yeah, I didn't know he was in it because I hadn't seen it. So I was like, yeah, I need to get that done, don't I? Because the Sureverse, I've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I've seen Good Place, and I really need to see where it all started. And I'm not starting to watch 1400 years of The Office. So I finally started Parks and Rec. And my two boyfriends are in it. Adam Scott has just appeared and my heart took wing. But finally, so it's been absolute nonstop comfort food in our house. There's been Community again. It has been Parks and Rec for the first time. When myself and himself don't get, normally I'm out or he's out and the other person will get to watch something different. And there hasn't been a lot of that, as you can imagine. So we're on things that both people agree with. And he's more discerning than me. But one thing I have been watching, like fuck, is... I talk about being late to the party, but Titans. Oh my God.
Titans.
Fuck Batman show.
Yeah. Teen Titans. Oh, okay. Yeah.
No. Just, the DC Titans. Fuck Batman.
Yeah. Good shit, isn't it?
Oh my God. It is fucking nonsense. And it is so good.
All of the DC TV series are nonsense, but they're fucking unbelievable.
So good. Well, am I bothering with Gotham? Am I watching Gotham?
Jesus, no. Gotham doesn't even come into it. No, fuck Gotham.
All right, good.
Gotham's garbage.
Yeah.
How many seasons
not good garbage. I think it went for 4 or 5. But
you were sick of Batman by what, season 2, 3?
Jeez, Titans was class. The violence. The bone-crunching violence. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah.
Have you seen Doom Patrol?
No, I cannot.
That's your next protocol.
I've got Prime and Netflix. Is it on either of those?
Oh, it's not. No, you'll have to find it on the interwebs.
You'd have to torrent the bollocks out of it, is what you're.
Yeah, but it's great. But no, Titans is brilliant.
Doom Patrol is very good. Doom Patrol has the return of Brendan Fraser to our heart.
Yes, my favorite actor.
Oh, he's so great.
One of my favorite actors.
Where's he been?
He's been suffering from a very bad mental breakdown following a shitty divorce and a woman that took him for everything. It's like somebody so pure of heart and nice.
So nice, yeah.
And then somebody just took him for a ride and they fucking destroyed him, and he just vanished. But then he's starting to get his way back there. He got a few little niche roles here and there.
Yeah. There's an appetite for him because we fucking love him.
Everyone was
didn't want him to go.
I've never heard of anyone say, you know what, I don't like that Brendan Fraser fella. He's a wanker. I don't like him as an actor. Like the Mummy. I think I saw a thing the other day. The Mummy's like 23 years old now or something.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Well, Rick O'Connell. I don't care how many times they rip off that idea of a 1920s pulp movie, but Rick O'Connell is for me is like he was at the time the newer version of Indiana Jones.
He was so
totally. You got it right. He was brilliant.
Yeah,
it was timeless. Yeah.
He hurt himself due to a lot of injuries as well. He did silly injuries, and they didn't like he was supposed to get in a stunt double.
Yeah,
He
working
messed
out. I think
himself up with
working
back
out for
problems.
the third Mummy film, The Emperor's Tomb, with Jet Li. He had a lot of hard. He worked really hard to get himself back into a shape that he could actually do the movie. But apparently he did something to his back on the set of that movie, and it fucked him up. And then he piled on the weight, and all the horrible shit happened to him
If
after
you
that film.
have a knee injury or back injury, you are fucked. Like, you can't move enough to work off any.
David Boreanaz in season 3 and 4, I think, of Angel, or 3 of Angel, or something like that. He fucked his knee up on doing stunts, and then he was like chunky for like the whole season. And then by the end of it, then he got back to his season 2. Yeah, full on, like, you know. And then you see him.
Which I'm currently rocking the season 3 David Boreanaz. I put on a pair. I had loose tracksuit bottoms on in the day, and still managed to muffin top over top of them.
Is David Boreanaz the non-standard measurement of weight gain now?
Weight gain, yeah. Well, in this conversation, he is.
Yeah. Irene's calling everything like that are quarant tummies. So I've gotten a quarant tummy. I've got a bit of a quarant tummy, and I don't put weight on, and I have. So yeah, it is what it is.
Well, that's the decent thing to do. My fucking husband looks like he's losing weight, which is obnoxious.
Yeah. Well, Braz is a bit younger than me, so like I back when I probably was his age, I probably would have been the same. But now that I'm a wee bit older,
once you hit 40, well, once you hit 30, but once you hit 40, it gets even harder and harder. It's wow.
No, it was when I hit 42. So that whole Douglas Adams thing for me, the question was, when is Wayne going to start gaining weight? 42.
Well, I like to think we have this invisible wormhole where when we eat the food when we're in our 20s, it goes somewhere else, and that it opens up when you hit your 30s, late 30s. Yours just was late, you know, like it's now open and it's coming on in. But yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I have to ask, did you just watch Tiger King?
Yeah.
No, I won't. I will not watch it because of how evil the people are in it, and I just don't like.
I'll tell you.
I'll watch any shit, but no, I don't like that.
Darren, it's well made. But the people that are bad are
very bad.
Very bad. Well, then they're not. No.
But it's not cartoonish. The people that are bad, even though like everything you've seen from it, all the memes and everything, makes it look like it's an exploitation fest, like it's like Jeremy Kyle or something.
I don't even like them though. I won't watch them. I don't like to watch it.
No, Darren. No, I wasn't saying like
that wasn't the selling point. That wasn't the selling point.
Sorry, I was like,
do you know how like that Jeremy Kyle show is really entertaining? Yeah, no.
Excuse your mouth. No.
Darren, you're wearing a Jeremy Kyle t-shirt. We all know.
It's a well-crafted documentary, and it's interesting because the animals are just transcendently wonderful. The people that are bad are just shitty in various different ways, and nobody's shitty in the same way.
Yeah.
And their actions they're not always evil to them, and there's no overt animal cruelty on the screen nowhere. So that's one of the reasons I wasn't gonna, it's not there. But the real bad guys are fascinating. And even you're just like, Wayne, to me, the villains are Doc Andel and Jeff Lowe.
Oh, yeah. No, Andel is like a fucking, he needs to be taken out back and shot in the back of the head. Double tap. Boom, boom, boom. He's like full on. That poor girl that you see getting interviewed. For anyone who hasn't watched Tiger King, which I think is few and far between, probably just D-Man.
Very few and far between.
D-Man is probably the only person in this universe right now that has not seen Tiger King. Because I think everyone else
Sandra, I was telling Sandra I was watching it, and Sandra went, "Oh, I wouldn't have figured you for a Tiger King girl." And I'm like, "There's no such thing as a Tiger King girl. There's just the idea that there are more captive tigers in the United States than there are in the entire world in the wild."
Yeah.
Like. And what goes on between them, and everybody knows each other. But it's genuinely, Darren, well made. And if you're painting, you do not have to watch it. I was playing Animal Crossing at the same time. You do not have to have your eyes on the screen. But
there's great. I've got loads of shows to do it, so I don't think that's the thing. We're so spoiled for choice now. There's so much stuff.
Yeah.
And
if you're not talking to anybody about it, there's less reason. So Wayne, Doc Antle.
Yeah.
He starts talking about his yogi, the guy, his spiritual leader. Yeah. And then in the next, 20 minutes later, he mentions he was in the state of Virginia, because you're looking at this bearded man on these elephants, and you're like, oh, he was in India for a time. Oh, he's raised in India. And then you realize he went to Virginia. And you're like, this guy is.
You know who he reminded me of? Do you remember Tim Robbins in the movie adaptation of High Fidelity?
Yeah.
That's who he reminded me of. As soon as I saw it, and I think somebody made a meme of it afterwards, but it was I was sitting there going, who the fuck does this guy remind me of? I feel like I've seen him before. It's like they put Tim Robbins in a fat suit and just kept the ponytail. But I don't understand. Like, I think it's a sign that, like, the whole mental health thing for sure is a huge problem, obviously. But these cult leaders that prey on, like, people that are going through some bad fucking times. That girl that you see getting interviewed after the fact. Yeah, teenagers who are basically trying to discover themselves. And these fucking sickos come along. As well as he's doing the shit that he's doing to animals. He has like a multiple bevy of wives and stuff.
Yeah. It was interesting to see that in order to get people to work those hours for that money, they have to be more invested in just a job. It has to feel like it's their life, and it has to feel like they're wedded to it, you know.
Yeah.
And Doc and Joe were doing the same thing with different things. Doc did it with fake spiritual links, and Joe just gave them drugs, and it's just the same thing. And like Joe was helping down and outs. Doc was taking beautiful young women in their prime and indoctrinating them, like, and gaslighting them. And I just love that nature wins in the end. You're gonna get your arm torn off. It's excellent. Well, but I don't understand anyone.
I felt sorry for the girl that happened to.
Yeah.
The girl that got her arm torn off.
I thought it was one of the shitheads.
Yeah.
Aww.
So no, one of the handlers in Joe Exotic's farm or fucking exotic zoo, a tiger basically took her arm, and but she's living her life. She just
trooped on back on. She got straight back to work.
Okay, back on the horse. Very strong individual. He actually.
Did you say how? Darren, did you say how did a tiger take her arm?
No, I said ow.
Ow. Oh. You said how. I actually think
fucking tiger. I know how.
I think
there's a reason they're in cages and you don't go near them. If they want to rip their arm off, they'll just go umph.
Yeah. No, it was. I remember the John Oliver video of when they did.
Yes, me too. Me too. When I saw that.
On Last Week Tonight, they did a kind of a piece on people that were also running for president at the time.
Yeah.
Of the 2016 election, and in America, and Joe Exotic was one of them who put his stock into running as an independent. And I do remember the video of him in the pen with the tigers and stuff.
Yeah, you don't forget that very quickly. No. And when he said, "I'm gay as shit," it was excellent. It was really excellent.
Like he's definitely a character, and they're all characters in the show. But I think it's the kind of the crux of reality television is that if you're into it and you get into it, you see these people as if they're well-rounded, well-written characters, and they're not. Like these. Yeah,
well, if you mean his show, like I thought Tiger King itself was a documentary. I didn't feel like it was a reality show, but I presume you're talking about Joe's reality show.
No, I look upon that documentary as also being reality TV, because I think that it was the antithesis of what reality TV is. It takes kind of like, I know it's a documentary telling you about this particular situation and the years that it took place, but in its purest form, it's reality television.
Well, I think if you look at Joe's show, that was reality TV. That was him, literally everything on the film. My life has no value other than to be portrayed to other people. Yeah. He was a performer. Honestly, Joe and Trump should both be comedians or actors right now and save everyone a lot of fucking heartache. But he really, there was a lot of frustration in his life, and he ended up, and when you saw the old footage of him talking about how tigers should be treated, and you realize how he's ended up here, it's just money. Money does this to people.
Well, meth is a hell of a drug, you know?
Yeah.
You know, to paraphrase Rick James, meth is a hell of a drug, and that's what happened to him.
Wayne, I found it very hard. So obviously, I was slow, so I saw 3 weeks of Tiger King memes before I saw it.
All right,
and I didn't go into it with any opinion of anybody other than I knew that the villain was Carol Baskin. And then I watched it and I went, no, she's been mistreated her entire life. Her philandering man who picked her up on the side of the road when she was crying might have accidentally been fed to a few tigers, but she wasn't even, and I know that people would watch her and go, look at that woman and that fucking cook there getting taken for a ride by this evil witch. And you're like, how could he believe her? How could he? And you're just like, if you've had a life with men like Carol Baskin had, you want the most gentle, sweet, cringy idiot that you could probably take in a fight just to share your life, just someone that's never going to challenge you, you're never going to have to throw a potato at to run out of the house. I watched it and I'm like, oh, I think I'm on the wrong side. I'm on the wrong side of this to everybody else. I'm like, yeah, like she's also getting people to work for nothing in her park.
Yeah. I mean, the way I looked at it was they're all bad guys. There's no hero in this at all. The fucking animals are the hero. Like maybe the guy who had no legs who worked for Joe Exotic, maybe he was a bit of a
He's a hero.
He was a bit of a hero.
He was.
The rest of them fucking, they're all heels. That's what they are. They're all, if this was wrestling, they would all be heels. That's what it would be.
Apart from Doc Antle, everybody, and Jeff Lowe.
What do you mean they wouldn't be healed? They are.
No. They're life's heels.
Right, okay.
They were on the scrap heap. Apart from Doc Antle and Jeff Lowe, everyone else was out in fucking Oklahoma, offered up to the gods. Like, nobody gave a shit about them.
Yeah.
It's I mean, we're not, we don't get political here, but if nobody gives a fuck about you, you feel that.
Yeah, that is true.
And there's plenty of people at the moment in the States that are not being given a fuck about, and they deserve to be. So,
that is true.
Yeah.
So we actually do have quite a few questions that we have been asked on social medias, and we got a few in while we were recording on Twitters.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just gonna start at the top. I have Facebook open in front of me here. So Anthony Behan wants to know: are there any new hobbies that you?
Anthony Behan isn't the top. Anto, you're still my best friend. I'm sorry. I know you watch Drag Race, so I know you're going to appreciate that. Anyway,
are there any new hobbies you've picked up, or long forgotten ones you've gone back to?
I wanted to be such a basic bitch, so I went into quarantine and started ukulele. Yeah.
I think we found the new Amanda Palmer. Neil Gaiman will be in touch.
R.I.P. Neil Gaiman and Amanda Palmer, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jill is really going through it. It was her mommy and daddy really coming together.
I'm also a fan of both of them as well myself. It was a surprise, but not a surprise because they're two very large egos that have been forced to live together after spending a lot of their given times touring, particularly Amanda Palmer. So when two individuals are like that.
And I'm sorry, Wayne, new baby going fuck you up.
He's not new anymore. The kid is about 5.
Oh shit.
Shit. Their kid is Ash is like, he is grown well. And but here's the thing is that Amanda Palmer's been touring for the last year and a half. And the tour that she's been doing has been insanely personal, insanely emotional, insanely draining. And then she literally ended the tour in New Zealand and then was in lockdown. So if you have that type of an emotional kind of trip for a year and a half, and then you're saying you have to stay there and not move. You're not allowed to leave this island. You're stuck there. And New Zealand clearly is the place to be if you want to survive all of this. Very well being handled by an extremely capable individual that's running the country.
Yes. I mean, Jacinda is amazing, but also it's 4 fucking hours flight from Australia. I don't think people looking at maps appreciate just how far away it is. Yeah. Like, it is easy to lock that shit down.
It is. But also, it's a case of those two individuals being told you have to stay on this farm and live here in lockdown for the foreseeable future. I guarantee, even though there may have been splintering
they were in lockdown together.
They were in lockdown together in New Zealand. You get those two type of minds in a place together, even though they're married. They lived an open relationship, so they travel a lot individually and together as well, but mainly individually. Particularly since Amanda has been touring for the last year and a half, and Neil has had a lot going on as well with TV series involved in, books he's in the middle of doing, a lot of stuff. So that can't have been easy, and nobody knows what went on. Nobody has a clue.
Nobody ever knows.
Nobody ever knows.
Do you know what Jill is going to reach through the internet and smack me? Do you know how bad my goth racism is?
How bad is your goth
racism? I heard that Neil Gaiman and Amanda Palmer had broken up, and you know, my thought that came in before I could police it was, oh, I thought they lived in separate houses. They kind of had perfect lives. And I went, oh, that's Helena Bonham Carter and and Tim Burton. I'm like, oh no,
they're no longer together, are they? So I mean, they're gone.
Were they not?
No, they broke up ages ago.
In a while.
I mean, hey, look, I'm an amalgamation of all kind of walks of life, I guess, but I've got a deep-seated goth root right in me. So,
yeah,
I mean,
you do.
I kind of like, you know, when it comes to that type of stuff, yeah, Gaiman and Palmer definitely had a
yeah, it was a sweet spot for a lot of people. It really was.
I did see Bobby Best did share a tweet of somebody saying, now that Amanda Palmer and Neil Gaiman have broken up, can we all stop pretending we love Amanda Palmer?
I'd say Jill felt that right in the ovaries.
Oh yeah, big time.
But Anto, to get back to Anto,
yes,
my husband got me this for Christmas. The last Christmas before we got married. We've been married 8 years.
Jesus.
And I've picked it up now during quarantine. So
at least that's something. That's awesome.
Yeah, fuck it. Like, you know, it's
I haven't gone near my fiddle and I should go near it. I hope.
And we'd like to thank Pornhub for that month subscription.
We are now officially sponsored by Pornhub. Apparently, if you mention
if only, like, geez, we'd be rolling in it. We'd be rolling in it. If we were sponsored by Pornhub, we'd be living the life. Yeah, and I'd happily take that sponsorship of Pornhub if you're willing to throw it forward.
And a free subscription as well.
I can't believe we're launching the Pubcast OnlyFans. It's so exciting.
And I can't believe there's people out there that are actually giving people shit for having an OnlyFans.
Are they?
Yeah, if people find a niche in the market and they want to use their own existence to fucking fill it, fucking let them do it, you pricks.
Yeah, why can't they monetize it directly and be self-employed?
Exactly.
I mean, the Kardashians, if the Kardashians did that, they'd be more fucking honest than the bullshit they're doing, eating salads on camera for 14 years. Jesus Christ.
There's a phrase I use that my wife hates, but I use it mostly when we're talking about the Kardashians.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a bigger
You just said Kardashians, by the way, because you can't fucking help yourself.
Yeah, because I can't help myself. But they are the biggest waste of skin I've ever seen in my fucking life.
And it's beautiful skin too, but you can't even see their skin anymore.
I'd probably watch the Kardashians. That'd be better, like, you know, lives on, like, that'd be interesting.
It'd just be a blank screen and some guy is saying, how many lights are there? How many lights?
Many lights!
There are 4 lights!
Are we talking more salads or less salads? So yeah,
my camera just died. Let me just switch the battery.
Oh, I see you. Darren, you were painting before. Are you?
I'm doing way fucking more, and I'm getting. I've always said, like, I always put a lot of hashtag half-ass painting, because I'm painting just to make it look okay on the table, just to make it look okay. And
you're not going crazy.
we're in a the kind of hobbies I'm interested I do. Unfortunately, a lot of people are like, to go into competitions, you have to have your models painted. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to come up with a quick way of doing things, and that's what I'm doing. And like, I've only kind of recently started getting used to putting pictures up just to say, here, I'm doing this. But I've been getting a good few likes, especially with the Institute stuff I've been doing. But again, it's really half-assed. But I think that's the one thing about this, is like the fact that I'm painting every day. I seem to be getting better and better. And again, I'm looking at my musical instrument, saying, well, why don't you pick that up and you get good at that? But yeah, I've been doing a lot more painting, but a lot more non-Games Workshop products. Like this was Wasteland Warfare is the name of the Get Bored game, and it's good if you like playing that type of stuff and you want to have a small area to play, and you only need around about 3 or 4 models. It's brilliant, but and the models are so good. and easy to paint. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. And as I said it earlier, I'm like listening to audiobooks, which is especially jogging. I've gotten.
That's great. Yeah.
It took a full month to kind of get used to it.
It took a while.
Took a while. But now I'm because you zone out and you've missed something dramatic. Like, hang on, how
I feel stained after the amount of time you guys have
such cons.
Oh, no. The drinking game is Pornhub. You know.
Pornhub.
The one thing and again, this is very quite it's kind of stereotypical and very Karen of me, but I've picked up a wee bit of baking since I've started this. But certain things. So Greg's released the recipes for their steak bakes.
Did you do them?
And I made steak bakes, and they were amazing, and they were very good. And then I made my own. I started to kind of make them, but I made my own different recipes. I made a chicken and bacon one, and Irene said that it was amazing. But then I decided to go a bit sweet with it, so I made apple turnover things out of the same kind of thing, and just a pastry. It's very easy, like a dog or a hammer in his ass could do it.
So like, oh god, my stomach is going. Can we have some? Shut up, stomach.
Yeah, no, but I know. Like, I mean, I've been kind of expanding my culinary talents, which
you've always been a good cook, Wayne. It's like I like the stretch too. I've done yeast work for the first time. And I'm not talking about Pornhub again. Wait! I waited till Wayne was drinking.
was drinking a pint of white stuff as well.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I finally made bread. I made 3 cobs. The first one was 7 out of 10. The second one was 4.5 out of 10. The third one was a 7 again in a different way. So I'm pretty happy with that. But it's men have the advantage there in kneading. Really need to hammer the fucker. So,
I don't know. I've seen some women give the dog a smattering, but there's been that. I've done that type of thing like myself. There's been that, and also I discovered like a lot of people. If you haven't been watching it, there's an Australian guy, very metal, has been called Nats. What I reckon. Have you watched his videos?
I reckon.
Yeah, amazing videos. If you haven't watched them, D-Man, definitely check them out. I'll send you on a link.
He's a cook and he curses a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's not.
More than that, the food is excellent.
I really enjoy.
Food is really good, and it's just so natural and just normal. But it's just if you watch his older videos, this isn't something that he would normally do. His older videos is just him and his girlfriend taking road trips and shit.
Doing things. But remember doing things?
Yeah, but now they're on lockdown. They're doing these videos of like him just doing his recipes that he would do because he lives in.
Raw champions.
Raw champions.
You gotta get this bread and you just gotta fuck it. You know, you just gotta fucking fuck it.
Yeah, it's every Thursday a new video goes up, and they've been really, really fucking good and very entertaining, and I highly recommend.
And very, very, like, you're looking at that going, I could do that.
Yeah.
I like the way he goes on.
I'm jealous of his long hair. That's why I had to switch off. God damn it. Young and he has his hair, fucker.
I did make some of his recipes, and they are really fucking good. And very easy to do.
I'll tell you what, though. Rosemary growing on the street is definitely more common in Oz than it is here because
just robbed that off the street and like making bolognese sauce, and it was like, and the fact that he took it and goes, see, there's only one fucking mushroom in that, and I was just like, oh yeah, there is, and it was so easy to do. But here's the funny thing, the cursing bugged me. I don't know why, but you know, we live in Ireland, we curse all the time.
In fairness, D-Man, when we curse on this and it comes to you, you're generally just going, oh, sugar, or, you know.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know what that is. Like, as you've seen, once we're in a pub and we're drinking, and I don't know what it is. It's like, when I know I'm being recorded, I don't curse as much, you know? But when I'm having a beer and relaxing, I do. Huh?
If he was going, and now we're going to fucking blah, 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 I wouldn't watch that either. But he's like, cut it or don't fucking cut it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I suppose it's. I'll get back to watch now. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but the fact that I'm talking about it and I've found the ones I have watched interesting means that I'm jealous of his fucking hair. That's what it is.
Probably.
I'll get back to watching it again.
So to answer Anthony's kind of question, it's been kind of. You with the ukulele. You with the ukulele. Fuck. You with the ukulele, and then me with the baking. D-Man, what have you been doing that's been kind of like a new hobby, or have you picked up anything at all?
That's it. Just
you don't have
just
to
get on
have.
with it.
You don't have to. Have.
Painting.
No. But it's I do have one. I keep on meaning to start playing music again, and I'm surprised that hasn't happened. But I've just been, as I said there, like just going not hardcore, but as soon as I'm finished working, I've got a little. It's funny. I've got a little €5 IKEA table right where I sit when I'm watching television, and like I know most people would do their painting in the kitchen and whatnot, but everywhere I wanted to paint, or in my room, but I've got models here that if I spill paint, I'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I said, right, well, hang on, I'll get a little small table, and I just put it in, like, if you stand on this thing, it's gone. But so far now, I'm jinxing myself. So far I haven't spilled shit on the floor or anything. But yeah, it's there. And so when I go and I sit down to watch a TV show, subconsciously I just pick up a model, pick up a pen, like, well, I'm like literally leaning over like this. So much so that when I finished painting yesterday, I was at it the entire day. I had a pain on my side from leaning over like that.
That'll fuck you up.
But that's it. I've just been painting. But I'm happy.
But Darren,
like
you can't berate yourself for not playing music. You have to be in the humor. I find, especially at this time, you can't be doing things that are chore-like. Like the fact that you're looking forward to painting that's what it is. All my entire day now, I love my kids and I love my husband, but my whole day is just, when can I get back to Manusica, the island I live on? When can I get back to Animal Crossing, because they understand me there. They love me there.
And like, again, like we will get back to the questions, but Animal Crossing has been a kind of a balm for a lot of people, and myself included.
I mean, there was somebody was telling me that this person is in California, and they said they were talking to their therapist, and he was about to explain. He's like, I've been playing this game called Animal Crossing, and he was getting ready for the question that comes, because therapists always ask you to talk about it. What is it? And the therapist just cuts him off and goes, oh, the one with the island, yeah. Like, literally everyone is talking to the therapists about the fact that they're playing Animal Crossing to cope. It's so lovely. So, Wayne, I had New Leaf on the DS.
Yeah.
I found it. I downloaded it because we were going to America, and I got it for the kids. But I found it kind of difficult because I'm, challenged when it comes to video games, because all I do is play Pokemon games. And it was fine. But Jesus Christ, Switch game. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about love and attention. It was supposed to come out last year. It shows why it didn't. Like, any other company would release the fucking game and be patching it months after, and just, maybe like, they'd push it out anyway and fix it later. And look at what they've presented us.
Yeah. No, it's unreal. It's I waited about, I think it was a week after it dropped, and I was looking at people playing it and seeing other people playing it.
Had you played it before, Wayne?
I played New Leaf on the DS. I have a DS upstairs, and I have one of those cartridges that you can just load games onto.
Oh, very good.
I have one of those. So I've got a DS upstairs with like about 150 games on it, and one of them is New Leaf, and I have played it, not extensively, but I had played it. So, and I had played. There's a one for your phone, or is a cameo of Amelia?
Yes. Yep.
So there is one for your phone that you can get for Animal Crossing for your phone.
Yeah. And people were mad at that.
It was fun. It was like a camping one, so you had a campsite that you had to build and stuff like that. Oh, cool. And it's a bit of crack, and I play that. Not extensively again. I think it's from Niantic as well, the people who do Pokemon Go. And I was aware of the Animal Crossing universe. I was aware of it. And there was a lot of buzz around New Horizons because of the most unlikeliest of partnerships of games, because of Doom Eternal. So Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons dropped on the same day. So the build up to those two games, the marketing campaign, even though they're completely different companies, and like Doom is available on the Switch, right? And Doom is famous for being on the SNES and all that back in the day. But Doom and Animal Crossing are completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, they're chalk and cheese. But the marketing, and everyone that's a fan of this, anyone that's been online would know this, that there's memes, there's artwork, there's videos of Isabelle and the Doomslayer just hanging out, doing things. the most amazing, wholesome shit, and also
I love
the most
internet.
the most violent and disturbing shit you will ever. There's a brilliant video of the Doomslayer and Isabel just hanging out, and then all of a sudden they get attacked by demons, and Isabel goes full rampage and just.
Oh, cool.
It's amazing, but
God bless you, wonderful nerds. By the
Yeah.
way, the internet has really stepped their pussies up over this
they
time.
have
The
very
memes
much
have
so.
been excellent.
They have. But I mean, I initially wasn't. I was interested in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but I wasn't going to drop 60 blips on it. I was like,
Yes.
don't think it's my.
Same.
It's not in my wheelhouse. Really isn't.
Yeah.
And I was busy with other games at the time, and then I started to see more and more what people were doing with the game over the week, between the week of launch and when I got it, and I was like, you know what? I think I need something like this right now. Even though I wouldn't usually, and I don't really suffer a lot from any anxiety or depression, and I don't mean to say that in any way of rubbing it into people that do, but I just don't have that infliction.
But you're very conscientious of what's going on around you, and there's no way this wouldn't affect you because you take things on, like you notice.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's affected everyone. So I mean, even like I think I saw a great somebody put a tweet up saying, look, people that are anxious now about everything that's going on, now you know how people with anxiety feel 24/7.
Yeah,
and it's very much that case. So
fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people gravitated towards Animal Crossing because it gave them a release. It gave them a bit of escapism to somewhere that was extremely calming and extremely manageable. So people find solace in doing everyday tasks, and I definitely find solace in solving problems. If I wanted to calm myself down, I solve a problem, and that's always the way I am, and that's why I work in IT, because that's what I do. I solve problems in that job, and I'm very good at it. And I love to solve problems. So if I am frustrated or angry about anything, I find myself trying to find something to do to solve a problem. And I think with Animal Crossing, it gave people an escape.
Yeah.
And it also gave them problems to solve, but not overly difficult problems.
Ones, low stakes ones.
Really
How
low
are you
stakes.
going to pay that loan with no interest rate and no time limit, and it's in bells? Like, it's so beautiful. But I was telling the guys on our D&D game, but I'm just gonna very quickly try and get this in it. Imagine my horror. So we had Pokemon Sword, and we must have put 200 hours in that thing, and we're still playing it from time to time. And when we played Pokemon Sword, when I logged in as me, it was my game, obviously, and same for Pat. And then when he pretended to be his dad and set up a new profile for himself, and so whatever. So when Animal Crossing came, I figured it would be the same. I figured it'd be an island for each of us, but of course, data-wise, that would never work. But I didn't know. And I was my daughter is nearly 5, and she gets overlooked because Pat loves playing Pokemon. I love playing Pokemon. She doesn't give a shit, and she'll wander off, she reads, she does other things. She's very self-reliant anyway. But I was conscious with this that I didn't want her to feel like computer games are for me and Pat, and you can just do something else. So when Animal Crossing, when we got it, I turned around to my husband, by the way, and I said, I think I need this. And he's like, that's fine. If it gets from the want to the need list, it's fine. So downloaded it. It took 2 days on on rural broadband, baby. So when we got it, I logged in as Rebecca and set it up as Rebecca. And I asked Rebecca what she wanted to call the island. And out of nowhere, she just goes, Menuzica. And I went, okay, Rebecca, that's objectively a fucking great name for an island. That's the island. That's the island.
You know what I called my island?
Did it? Oh, well, I'm going to go into you properly in just a second.
No, sorry. Just, cool. Sorry.
Yeah. I realized once we got in there and I logged in and Pat logged in that, oh, it's Rebecca's island and we just live there. And that any progress on the island was going to be done by her. And Rebecca wants to walk around with beetles in her pocket and she doesn't want to sell them. So we're in a bit of a problem.
Oh, I love that.
So I lied to my children and I restarted the game 2 days later because I said, this is going to become a problem. And I may as well do it now while they have no progress done. But the problem is Rebecca keeps asking about the 2 guys that were there when we started. But it's great, and now we're flying. So I was in my first turnip market this morning. I haven't. It's only just. We're only just there. So Wayne, tell me about you. What's your Animal Crossing?
Well, my island is a fucking shambles.
Is it?
Yeah, it's an absolute fucking shit show. I can't. So, my father was a professional gardener. That's what he did.
Yes.
I did not inherit his green thumb in life or in the digital world. Because my island, I was sitting there playing. I was sitting at my desk in my office. I had downloaded it. I was taking a break from work.
Right.
The game downloaded. I don't mean to put your internet to shame, but the game downloaded onto my Switch in an hour. Probably less actually. But
oh my bum.
Yeah. I then proceeded to play the game. And it was like, what would you like to call your island? And I for some reason I drew a blank. I was like, and I just looked to my right, and the first thing I saw was I was still having breakfast at the time, and there was a pot of yogurt there, and I just called my island Yogurt. So it's just called Yogurt. That's my island name in Animal Crossing. It's called Yogurt.
Wayne, the reason I haven't got anyone's friends codes is because my island is undeveloped yet, and I presume everyone else has Trixie Mattel wallpaper already.
Oh God, no.
Oh, so I must come and visit then.
Yeah. Of course.
I can go to Yogurt. I've been to everywhere, but I haven't been to Yogurt.
If you want to feel shame in your inability to plan a fucking island, you visit Naomi Bulger's island.
Well, that's why I held out.
And it's like a fucking utopia. And she'll sit there and go, no. It is. And it's just like, I mean, I have some things in my island, like I have a museum, and the museum is where I spend most of my fucking time.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful, Wayne. They didn't have to make it look like that.
Unreal. And my museum has only recently started to take works of art. So it now has an art gallery in it.
Yeah, I'm just there too.
So I am literally not going to do a damn bit. I'm not going to do anything else in the game. I'm just going to collect art.
Ask you something. I'm going to ask you something. When you have you got any paintings yet?
I've got one or two.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So you know,
not
you know that they turn out to be legitimate, like works of art, despite the description that is on them. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Darren,
I mean,
it's unbelievable. I can't believe.
I'm not playing the game, and I'm sitting here kind of going, geez, that, because I was like, yeah, all I've been doing is going around and killing people with samurai swords. I'm playing like Shadows.
You're playing Sekiro. You're playing Sekiro,
which is hard as fuck. But
again, that is the other end of the spectrum when it comes to Animal Crossing.
But here's the thing, though. I was like, I wouldn't need to play that game at all. But here's the thing. I'm also playing Tipping Away at Fallout when the lads are on. And one of the things I love to do when I log on is you have a base, and I have a lovely garden, and it's right outside my base. It's surrounded by sentry turrets, so no one trashes my base. And but there's a garden, and there's loads of different rows. I've got 2 rows of corn, a row of carrots, which I'm pretty chuffed at because it's a pain in the ass to find carrots. 2 melons.
That's pretty much Animal Crossing.
It sounds like Animal Crossing.
Right? So, but I was thinking, no, I can't relate to that. And then I was thinking, how often I would spend about 40 minutes getting all the ingredients, like getting the carrots and all that stuff and the corn and all that, then going over to the water and pressing the button to get loads of water, giving myself radiation damage, to go up to my cooking pot and spend the next couple of minutes cooking the shit. But as I said, it's quick to cook it all, but it takes a little bit to gather it all. And then I'd be like, oh, I ran out of wood. And I'd go on a quest to a place I know has fucking loads of wood, get the wood, come back.
That's Animal
Crossing.
And then, here's the thing. And then on the speaker, I would hear, Darren, are you ready to rock? What do you mean? You said you'd be a minute. How long is it? Oh, fuck, but you need food and water to survive in this game. And I'm like, right. Oh, okay, but I will log on sometimes just to do that, and then go to the shop to sell off my food.
That's lovely. Do you remember when people used to in Grand Theft Auto just go and watch stand-up shows? Yeah. It's this kind of play. That's Darren. What you were describing is self-care. Hey Wayne, that was a really good advertising campaign by Nintendo to just pay Naomi massive amounts of money to just float around us full of the magic of Animal Crossing, and we just suck it in by a
pretty much that definitely. I think it definitely got 2 of us to buy that game. Naomi actually
Definitely.
just existing
Definitely.
and playing Animal Crossing got the both of us. That's 120 blips they definitely got from us. And who knows what other
Definitely.
like knock-on effect she had.
Yeah.
I'm really tempted to get it now just to see.
She's a powerful being.
Just to build
She
some
is,
stuff. Just to get
she
some
is.
damn turnips.
So
No,
we've
all
other
that-
questions that we're going to jump into.
Yeah.
From some young one called Gillian Dempsey.
That young one.
What things have you been
Who?
binging in lockdown?
do.
TVs, comics, books, food, and booze. I think TV show. My personal self that myself and Irene decided to do the Marvel Cinematic Universe in chronological order.
Oh, of the
22.
movies coming out or where the movies are set?
Where the movies are set. So
Oh,
the timeline.
nice.
So starting with Captain America first,
Of
Avengers,
course.
then Captain Marvel, then
Captain
Iron Man.
Marvel, yeah.
Now we have found a problem.
Yeah.
In chronological telling of the story of Marvel.
Ultron, is it Ultron?
No, it's not. It's actually Captain Marvel.
Because she goes to the past and in the future.
No, well, there's that, but also the story of Captain Marvel is problematic. Although it's a great movie and it's really enjoyable, the actual story and the plot points in it disrupt certain elements of the story in the rest of the universe. And considering that kind of came
Fury,
with its
is
tail
it?
end, it's Fury and it's the Tesseract.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because the Tesseract is the main MacGuffin in Marvel. Once they eventually get to it, it is the main MacGuffin. And if you look at the timeline and you look at all the after credit sequences and the timeline of the other films, when you get to Thor, when you get to the Avengers, and where the Tesseract is meant to be, it's theoretically not meant to be where it is on the Skrull ship in Captain Marvel. So in Captain Marvel, if anyone remembers, at the end of it, they find the Skrull, and it's not so much a prison ship, but it's a Skrull ship where the remaining Skrull refugees have been hiding out on. And the power source on this ship is the Tesseract. So there's no explanation of how it got there because...
That'd be a fake.
Well, no, it's the real Tesseract.
It's supposed to be in the ocean that whole time.
No, it's not. It's because Howard Stark found it at the end of Captain America.
Oh, okay, yes.
So S.H.I.E.L.D. are meant to have it. S.H.I.E.L.D. are meant to have the Tesseract. And it's S.H.I.E.L.D. that find it on Captain Marvel's ship. Like it's Fury. And he takes it and brings it back to Earth. So how did it get to there? And there's no real explanation to how. So there's a disconnect there. And plus also there's a disconnect with Fury because if we watched Captain America Winter Soldier, hands down my favorite Marvel film.
Yeah, Bull of Us, absolutely.
Hands down. Phenomenal stuff. But in that film, Pierce, Robert Redford's character, talks about how Fury became the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and how he was promoted because he saved a bunch of people, including Pierce's daughter, in a situation in Bogota.
Right.
And yet, in Captain Marvel, at the end of the film, Fury is made director of S.H.I.E.L.D. because of what happened with the Skrulls.
It's funny, they don't fuck up like that mostly.
They
Feige's
don't.
been on top of things. And what I was going to say when you said you were watching them again in chronological order, I'm like, talk about love being put into a project. Like, talk about a reward like that.
Yeah, and it's... We got as far as the next one up because we took a break there because we were watching other things, and Irene has watched Gilmore Girls. It's in fucking entirety again.
Self-care.
Yeah, exactly, and that's her self-care. That's what she's been doing.
Yeah.
But and I'm all for it. But we're now on to we're gonna watch tomorrow. What day is it today? Today's Sunday. Tomorrow night we're gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy. That's where we're at in the time.
I don't like how quickly you answered correctly what time it was. Wayne, it's very not of the now.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm lucky that I have structure, so I'm like it's allowing me to kind of keep track of what's going on. But that's for me personally. That's kind of what we've like. Is to answer Jill's. I've binged that. As far as TV and comics and stuff like that, because I'm back writing, and the next book I'm writing is a Western horror. I have been rewatching Deadwood from the start.
Yes, I started Deadwood. I must pick it up again.
Can I cut across you for a second? The reason I'm gonna watch
Darren is the Pubcast.
I know, but no, just you mentioned Deadwood. I've been binge watching Fear the Walking Dead, right? it's weird because I used to always say that when a lead character left the show should end. But in this, the first the first 2 seasons, then the beginning, there's main cast, and then it kind of role reverse, and there's other casts that come into it. But there's a character in there. Now, I had meant to kind of write down his name because he's well known. But he played in Fear the Walking Dead. I'm convinced that he's the gunslinger from Stephen King's books, because he's just so cool. He's a gunslinger in a zombie apocalypse. He just appears at season 4.
Is this Darren? This is Darren Headcanon, isn't it?
This is Darren Headcanon. But no, but he's playing a West. Like his job is that you find out that he used to do. He's really, really good with pistols, and he did it where, you know, you go to a theme park and the all westerny kind of thing. And like, this guy's really good. He was the only thing I'm trying to remember what he was in. Now it was funny because he was actually when they were thinking of doing Zombieland, the TV show, he was in the pilot as one of the leads. He was also the Terminator in the TV show. Now people will know him if I could mention his fucking name, but I can't remember. But he was also in Deadwood, so I knew there was something. But he's a really, really cool actor. He was also in the Mindy Project.
He in Deadwood?
He was in the Mindy Project as if you see, I forgot that I don't have my phone to quickly check because I'm using it as a you know, like to talk to you. But you'll probably know him. I'm not doing him justice forgetting his name, but I always forget names. But yeah, but like, I binge watched that show, but I mainly do it for his character. It's weird. It's a zombie show, right?
Does he play John Dory?
I'll know his face. I know his face. I can't remember. His name's not clicking, but he's playing a cowboy in Fear the Walking Dead. That's pretty much it. And I'm watching it because
he was in Justified and Deadwood, I think, if it's the guy you're talking about.
He double dipped on the Oliphant.
He's done, there you go. He's really cool as it, and he's so nice as well, which is weird because I went and did research in the Mindy Project. He plays a sleazeball. So I was like, okay, but the reason I jumped on there is to say that's my next port of call, because he's only in it for like 9 episodes, but people have been talking about it. I like Westerns. He's in it. I'm going to go watch it. Man. But the main reason I binge watch Fear is just the love interest between his character and this other person, and I want to see if they have a happy ending. You know, like it's weird that I'm watching a zombie show just for that, you know. But yeah, sorry.
Gillian, Yumi, and Timothy Oliphant, and a happy ending. How about that? It's Garrett Dillahunt, I think.
Pornhub would be in touch for that one.
Garrett Dillahunt, I think, is the actor's name, and the fact that he's in Justified and Deadwood means he's being typecast. But yeah,
he's nice in this now. He's really nice.
The head on him, Darren. He looks like he could play an recently fired WWE superstar.
He played the Terminator in the TV show, and back then he was like, whoa, he did a Terminator justice. You know,
the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
You can't say the Terminator TV show is meaningless.
But yeah, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. He played the bad guy Terminator that was tracking him down, and he did it well. But I want to see more. But yeah, sorry, as I said,
that's cool.
I want to see Deadwood now. That's what I've been watching.
Deadwood is the fucking business.
It's so good. But again, it's too good. It's too good. It gives me I can't have anything at the moment that gives me dreams. If it goes with me to bed, it's not gonna work for Quarantina.
So what you're saying is a show that contains Oliphant goes with you to bed.
If it has dense themes and a treatise on the nature of humans when pushed to their limits, I can't have it right now.
Sure.
Push it to the limit.
I'll come back to it. Limit!
Oh, jeez. We had to have a bit of sing. I would laugh that we had to sing along when it got the Jill's question.
Oh yeah.
And again, of course, the books that I'm reading the Dragonlance series. I'm also rereading a lot of comics as well. For art references, I'm looking at the Blueberry comics, which are like the French cowboy western.
Ooh, nice.
Really I'm going to admit something which is weird. I have just realized that in all the things that I'm like listening to audiobooks, painting and whatnot, I actually haven't picked up a comic since quarantine happened. I think it's because I want to wait until this all kind of goes back to normal to get into that. I don't know. That could be the only reason.
Anyone that is interested in getting comic books, Dublin City Comics are delivering, and they are our sponsors, so we have to give them a shout out.
Oh my God, they're
I am
so good.
still getting all my toys.
Like they're still doing online orders. They're still processing orders. They're sending stuff out to people in the post. I got books from them, no problem whatsoever. They came in within like a day.
Same with me. It was really awesome.
Next day delivery. And now Diamond, they're starting to
come back.
Now Diamond are starting to kind of redistribute books, and that is another question. We can roll straight into another question there we got from David Ferguson. Thoughts on the future of comics given the issues caused by current events? So for anyone that's not familiar, Diamond Distribution are pretty much the sole distributors of comic books in the world. That's what they do in the Western world, or even the fucking Eastern world. But the main Western world distribution is Diamond Distribution, and they distribute all comic books. Anyone that's on Diamond Distribution, that's where you get it from. That's what it is. So you have the two big labels, DC, Marvel, Image Comics, Dark Horse Comics, and then a plethora of the next batch of labels. And a lot of independent books as well that get distributed through the likes of Source Point and other ones that are also Diamond Distribution. The Diamond shut down distribution as soon as everything happened in the States. As soon as America shut down, that was it. They were done. So a lot of retailers, comic book retailers, brick and mortar stores were like, fuck, what are we going to do? So there was a bit of mobilization within the independent comic book industry where people were like, look, we can self-distribute. And Row Comics, speaking for Row Comics, we self-distribute, but at the moment, due to the fact that I'm stuck in lockdown and I can't leave my house, I can't send out postage. So we are letting anyone know that has purchased anything through Row Comics over the last couple of weeks that unfortunately the postage is delayed, and it will eventually get to them. And we have all their orders, and we're very, very thankful for the support. But like everyone else right now, everyone is severely affected by this. So what's happened with the comic book distribution is that Diamond, the shut up shop, they weren't distributing anything. DC then partnered with Midtown Comics in New York.
Oh, wow.
And they set up a distribution for the States. Now, it took them a while. There was talk of whether they were just going to go digital with all of their books, and that was it. And they were just going to do digital distribution, but that would have killed the brick and mortar shops.
They might have never come back from that, would they?
They wouldn't. No. So there would have been closures all over the fucking place, and there may still be, like, a lot of the smaller stores may still drop off, but DC and Midtown made a deal where they now have distribution in America, to a degree that they're getting some books out there. Not all of their books, but some of their books. Now Diamond are starting to send distribution out.
Okay.
And as of this week, stores have started to receive more books, but there was a huge gap there where there was no comics. And at both Marvel and DC, and I think in most places, most labels, it was pencils down. Maybe not as much DC, but Marvel definitely was pencils down. All books were like shut down production because we don't know when they're going to be released.
Right.
So a lot of titles were on hold. A lot of and Marvel let go a lot of their editors. So there was a large swath of editors that were like, right, you're done for now. Whether they take them back or not, it's unknown.
Right.
But until the distribution starts kicking back in on a larger scale, it's still very much up in the air about how comics are going to be distributed on that level. So I think it's going to have a huge impact on how comic books are looked at, how they're dealt with going forward, whether there can't be a monopoly anymore. This is definitely shown that there cannot be a monopoly on this particular market, because as soon as there is, which there has been, Diamond has been the monopoly on comic book distribution for years, and there's nobody ever challenged them. There's nobody ever stepped in and said, we want to do what they do as well. I know that DC took the initiative to go to Midtown, and Midtown, they struck a deal. I'm not familiar. I should have, but I haven't. Before we started recording, I didn't have time to look into the ins and outs of what they did. And I am part of some groups on social media that have kind of discussed it and talked about it and looked at different methods of doing it. But it's definitely interesting. It's going to be a big thing from an independent comic point of view. It's interesting from that point of view because the distribution on that end has always been done by the independent labels. Raw Comics, we do our own distribution, as in it's a personal level of distribution.
Yeah.
We physically pack the bags, we physically pack the envelopes and send them off. Because we're, in all the grand scheme of things,
you can mobilize in a way that other people can't.
We can, but in the grand scheme of things, we're still quite a small enough label. We're quite large on the Irish scene, but on the grand scheme of things, if we're shipping internationally, it's a lot more difficult right now for us to do that. Even locally, I can't ship because I can't leave the fucking house. So yeah, it's tough. It is hard, and a lot of people are going to see, like a lot of comic book artists are turning to commissions, or turning to storyboard work and art animation, are looking to getting Patreons and Kickstarters set up for books.
Yeah.
And that's the nature of everything now. And a lot of people are taking stuff online and going directly to the fans. And I think that is going to be a huge thing.
But isn't it great that they can?
It's great that they can. And for the longest time, I poo-pooed that. Personally, I did not like the use of crowdfunding, because I think if you're an independent creator trying to create a book and trying to get a story out there, the onus is generally on you to do it. But if you're a well-established creator, who's used to having their
people
books,
are all in on it before you even start. Why not use that?
It's different. It's a different situation. Me going, I need to make a book. Somebody give me a couple of grand to get this done, than the likes of, I'm picking names out of the fucking air here, Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey going to Kickstarter or Patreon. Not that they ever would, but if they needed to, they could go on there and say, I want to make a new book and we need you guys to fund it. It'd be like literally
immediately
funded in half an hour. You're good luck to you, you know. So it's, the audiences are there for the people that are hungry for that shit is there, and it's the nature of how many more creators are going to go that way. And I think that is going to be part of it's going to, as much as there was an explosion of that a couple of years ago. And there was a lot of creators, and there still is. I mean, I've backed since this whole thing happening, I think I've backed 3 books on Kickstarter. As much as I'm saying I don't personally want to do any of my books that way. I've backed 3 people that I know need the support to get it done. And will continue to do so, because
and it's nice to have the option too, Wayne.
You
know, it's nice when you're a fan. The idea that you could help this happen and it wouldn't happen without you is intoxicating. Like it's a nice way to feel.
And that's not even just on the level of just comic books. That's happening to a lot of people right now. So you have a lot of creators out there, be it you know, streamers, videographers, comic book creators, artists, writers. They're all going that way because they're not getting their usual revenue stream from elsewhere. And they're having to go to these crowdfunding situations to kind of get stuff done. And you've seen a lot of people that would have been in an amalgamation with other people working are having to break out on their own because they don't have any other option. And that's the nature of it. You know, I think it is going to impact heavily. Like, I think there's going to have to be a restructure of the distribution system for books and for comic books going forward. I don't think there's one thing that all of this is thrown at the sharp relief, is that when we get it to the other side of this, and we will get to the other side of this, we will.
Yeah, definitely.
There's going to be a lot of changes in every walk of life, in every form of society. It's going to be very different, and it's a strange thing. Like our generation has not seen this before.
No. I think the last time something like this happened was 1920 with the flu, the Spanish flu.
But not even
1918.
1918
for some fucking reason, Donald Trump keeps saying 1917, and it's doing my fucking head in.
There's no rhyme or reason. There's no rhyme or reason with that fucking scrote with a wig on him. But the whole point I'm making here is that, or trying to make anyway, in a roundabout kind of way, is that
all has changed utterly.
And to quote Jeff Goldblum and Dr. Malcolm, it's like life will find a way. It will, and you know, we're going to come out the other side of this, and and the people that have pulled together to keep each other strong in this moment in time. It's obvious, you now know the people that you have around you. Are your support system. Now, that being said, it's not up to everyone to try and check in on everyone at every single time. And
Jesus
everyone's
Christ.
dealing with their own shit at the same time. But we have seen people reach out to other people. We have seen the community spirit of nerds everywhere, of just people in general everywhere, trying to keep everyone as sane as they can be. And that's the main thing, you know? But as far as the comic books things are concerned, I'm looking forward to getting back to it. Now my brain is starting to get back into that frame of mind where I can write. Because for a very long time I wasn't in that frame of mind. I was focused on certain things that were keeping me writing, like the D&D was keeping me writing, but I wasn't able to write my own thing. The
But
D&D was helping
it's
me with.
enough. Like, isn't the rule with writing just right?
Yeah.
You know, if you just, it doesn't matter if you don't use any of it, just right.
Yeah.
And you
Keep
put
you in
so
the
much work into those campaigns.
rhythm.
They're so rich. Like, really, it was like, it's really fun. Oh, I must tell Stephen Mooney to play a spellcaster at some point, because it's.
Oh no, he's all about the stabbing.
Stabby.
Yeah,
And he
but
has-
so am I. So am
Backstabbing in this.
I.
Yeah,
But
but
you
Mooney.
gave me a character I didn't choose, and it was the best thing ever. It's like,
Wizards are cool.
Here's
Wizards
the,
did it.
here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. And I don't know whether we've said this before on a Pubcast or whether I've dropped this on a Pubcast before or even mentioned it on a Pubcast before. But Stephen Mooney is lined up to guest on the Pubcast Plays D&D.
I think he told us, but not.
I don't think I announced it to the world. Now, it's not that I'm committing him to this because it's trying to find the time to do it. But he had a character at the time that was meant to happen, meant to drop into the story at some point earlier on.
Wasn't that I think you said that. Yeah, there was a moment where someone was coming out of the bush.
Yeah, exactly. There was a moment where Mooney's character was meant to arrive into the story for about two or three episodes. And just as he was about to do it, he got Black Widow with Marvel.
yes.
So he obviously had better things to fucking do, which is totally understandable. And yes, I appreciate that.
We understand the page rate on these things.
Yeah. So that was meant to be a point where, but I have then rejigged the character. I can now plop it into the story when I need to.
Well, I think
it's open for Mooney to return if he wants to, but that was obviously the option that was
as a player, he will be treated with respect and reverence and just all due deference that we can possibly give you, Stephen. Me and Jill mostly.
This is going to be a pork the orc situation again, isn't it? It's going to be that man-meat situation.
No, I'm not being pervy. I'm just saying.
Fucking thirsty fuckers.
No, I'm saying he's
has a mind, you know.
And we are constantly annoying him. So that is what I meant. I was sarcastically saying he's going to be bothered the whole time he's trying to play.
We'll see how the next couple of episodes of Pubcast Plays D&D unfolds, and we'll see where his character can fall into the storyline. It may happen, it may not happen. There's no guarantees in this whole situation.
Wayne, at the risk of derailing you too much, but just how does it feel? We've been playing a year. How does it feel to be in this? Like, you've played before, I haven't. How groups get close like this? Do they get close like this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Dungeons and Dragons. People always say, like, you know, oh, we're going to have this grand adventure. We're going to be all fantasy and sorcery and type of thing. And it ends up just being a monthly therapy session for your friends. And they just all get there. And particularly
I'm surprised I've kept the voices this long.
Yeah, but particularly our Pubcast Plays D&D sessions, because the last 3 episodes have been very character heavy.
Yeah. And
very story heavy. So there's been some reveals in the story and reveals in the characters that have been quite emotional.
All the emotion.
I mean, your character Codeine in episode 7, which has been cited as one of the best episodes of the run.
Oh my God.
By a lot of people. Your character had some serious emotional baggage, just literally opened up and just shown to the world. And you got weepy in that episode.
Yeah, bitch, I did. And it was because places you took me there. I was looking in your face, and like you were just telling me what was happening, and I was living it as you were doing it. And if you look at Loran and Norman talking to each other in the last one, and it's just like it's been amazing to watch those two characters when you're sitting next to them.
Yeah.
The fact that still happens when you're on a fucking Zoom call, like in my fucking shitty cold office, like that I'm still sucked in like that. They're so good. Everyone's so good, and I absolutely love it, and it's so out of my comfort zone, and it's the best thing ever.
That's the great thing about it.
But we've been doing it now. We're coming up on our 10th episode, so it's well in the comfort zone now for everyone. And we will be recording episode 10 of the series soon. And we're more than we are going to be doing it like this. So
very good.
We're going to be doing it on a Zoom chat with everyone. We just need to arrange a time for everyone to be available because, situations are changing and people's timelines are changing. So we will figure it out. Now, we have another question here from Simon KDB Moore. Thoughts on the finale of Clone Wars if you've watched it? I have not watched it, not yet.
I'm actually, on a side note of binge watching shows, I am finally getting through, but I'm still on season 3, but I'm towards the end. So yeah,
I'll be honest, I have restarted it because it's been so long since I last watched it.
Forgot.
So I've forgotten a lot of it. I've gone back and it's like, fuck it, it's on Disney Plus now, which is another thing. Again, how long ago do people feel Disney Plus happened in Ireland?
I know, right? It feels like fucking ages.
Ages ago. It dropped the second week we were into all of this. So and everyone was like, everyone was cheering for it to happen, and it happened. It was like, yes. And we signed up for the year. I was like, 60 quid, fucking pay it. I don't care. And we got it, and we have used it a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
We've like Amelia has found her little shows on it. I've found the rewatches of Gargoyles.
Oh, sweet. I still remember a lot from that show.
Oh, man.
And Riker being in it. Copy and paste.
Crimes keep slipping through the cracks, but do gumshoes. He'll never look it back. There's no case too big, no case too small. If you need help, just go. I'm so glad it's as good as I remember. It's so good.
DuckTales is.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Did anyone watch the new stuff? Because I haven't watched the new stuff.
The new stuff is very good. And you know what they've done? It's really funny what they did with Donald. So I think it gets a couple of episodes in, and Donald's voice is grating on everyone. What they've done is the inventor of the show, whose name escapes me at this moment in time because I've had a few beers, makes a translator that they shove down Donald's throat, and he starts to talk in the voice of Don Cheadle.
Oh my god!
It is Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle is now the voice of Donald Duck.
Oh,
that'll do it.
They got rid of the whole. That's gone. It's now all like Don Cheadle. I'm not thankfully not Cockney John Cheadle.
No. Thank heaven for small mercies. Well, I never got to the new stuff yet. We've just been watching the classic ones, but I'm looking forward to that now.
David Tennant is Scrooge McDuck.
That's why I want to watch it. I was a big fan of DuckTales when I was a kid. I loved it. And that's why
David Tennant is Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
I have to say, here's something that Anthony Behan to absolutely call back is gonna appreciate. Voice actors are life.
Yeah.
Voice actors giving it everything are the reason parents can stay sane. Thomas Middleditch and Nick Kroll in Captain Underpants and Ed Helms in Captain Underpants. Oh my God, they're so good. And then Nick Kroll again as Gunter the Pig in Sing, giving it a different Germanic accent. Professor Poopy Pants in Captain Underpants is slightly from Switzerland, and Gunter the Pig sounds properly German, and it's just balls out. Everybody. Voice actors work so fucking hard, and like you're looking at something like that and looking at the cast list and you're like, thank you for doing this, thank you for spending the few bob.
It's always something I've personally have wanted to give a go at and do voices in a cartoon, but or anything, but I
think that would be awesome.
I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it, but it's finding the way of doing it. We personally know voice actor. Stephen Lynch is a voice actor, and I've been very lucky to sit down with the likes of Troy Baker and have conversations about voice acting and stuff like that. But there's so many others as well. Like actors that are famous on screen have also done a lot of voice acting as well.
Yeah, but I mean the ones they're just the list of people that are incredible, and you look at where it failed. Like some of the casting in some of the Disney movies, you're like, like they after the inimitable Robin Williams, they thought they'd get Jason Alexander to do it. You're like, no. But oh honey, you tried. Bless
But
your heart.
Dan Castanella took over, I think, the Genie in Aladdin is it 3?
Yeah. I mean, it's not his fault. Nobody
No.
should have done that. That was really the dark days of Disney when they were giving a threequel to Aladdin.
Well, it's like was it the Irish Simpson fans thing when the memes and that on that Facebook group, but they had like the Disney film and it was Bart, and then the Disney sequel to that film was the mutilated version of Bart.
Oh yeah, the guy in the attic.
The guy in the attic that hangs in the background. That's what Disney, because Irene was real funny. We got Disney Plus, and Irene had not heard of all these fucking straight to DVD or video sequels.
Yeah, there's so many Little Mermaid sequels. There's so many.
That's exactly what we watched. The Little Mermaid.
Who asked for this?
Yeah, she watched the Little Mermaid with Amelia. She watched Little Mermaid with Amelia, and straight away it comes up, goes, "You've watched it. Now watch Little Mermaid 2."
Yeah.
And Irene pressed play, and
there's a movie that doesn't hold up.
What, Little Mermaid?
Voice acting though, Jodie Benson, killing it.
Well, I mean, look, the music in that film definitely holds up, but
it does.
I remember when Disney started to do high definition re-renders of some of their movies, and I went to see.
They're trying to get people to pay for the same movie for the 4th fucking time. Yeah, oh my god!
They did a re-render they cleaned up Beauty and the Beast, and I went to see it in the cinema, and I mean, having studied animation and studied those movies,
work of art.
Beauty and the Beast is good. It's a beautiful film, but the high definition rework
was not good.
Did not.
Oh no, I never saw that.
Not on the big screen anyway for me. Some films though that have held up, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Amazing.
Hunchback. That came out. I think it came out just before I went to college to study animation, and we studied it heavily when I was in college. But that opening sequence of all the different layers of layout. So there's like an opening sequence where the camera goes through the streets of Paris up to Notre Dame, up to the steps of Notre Dame, and then you have the puppeteer, one of the gypsies, is telling the story. It's just that opening sequence of all the different layers that are in that, and it's like what it takes to make that shot.
How much work? But again,
people take it for granted. Like
we've mentioned it like 9 times. People pouring their heart into something, and it just pays out forever. Like it's just excellent. We've been watching the classics. Like all the good Disney movies we own on DVD. Our internet is so shit. We still have physical media, and
what's wrong with physical media? I've got loads of CDs.
We still have them all on Blu-ray. We have them all inside on Blu-ray.
But wait, there's kids in school with my kids that would have never seen a DVD. Like. It's just, that's the way it is. Wait, Andrew was going to buy a DVD for his brother. I'm like, yeah, Andrew, I wouldn't say they own a single piece of physical media. There's no way, because they have massive Sky package. They have everything, so there's no way.
They wouldn't need it.
But I was watching the classics. I was watching Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and Snow White with Rebecca. And I don't, like, animation is stunning, but it's flimsy. And she owns all the good shit already. So this is like just to give her a bearing into the universe of it. Like, just like, these are the famous ones that are going to show up on your vests. So this is where they come from. And that's it. But for me, I've been watching The Mandalorian, and it is
good shit.
The other Disney princess. I just want to jump in there real quickly as an animation snob. Sleeping Beauty to this day is a fucking work of art.
Yeah.
That film is gorgeous. We watched it when we got Disney Plus.
The fight scene at the end, Wayne.
Yeah, but like just the animation, the design, the art direction in that film. We like I said, we watched a batch of Disney films like over the space of a week.
Of course,
a rake of them, and Sleeping Beauty it's Irene's, one of Irene's favorites. Like it is, probably her favorite. And we watched it, and I hadn't seen it in years, and just the overall art direction in that film alone. Considering that, I want to say it was their. Did it come after Cinderella?
Wasn't it in the 50s?
I think Sleeping Beauty was their second film after Snow White.
Oh,
I could be wrong. I'm more than happy to be corrected on that. But I nearly swear, following Snow White, Sleeping Beauty either fell like second or third in the roster of Disney films. I nearly want to Google that because it's kind of
I'll Google it for you.
It'll bug the piss out of me. But I could be wrong on that one. But it's very early on in the catalog.
Yeah, 1959.
So I think
that's much later than Snow White.
Snow White was in the 40s. Yeah, 30s. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the fifth one. But Sleeping Beauty itself, Like it's classic the nine old men of Disney type thing, but it's such a beautiful film compared to some of the later ones that they did. There is a drop off in quality, like you said. The Little Mermaid. When you look at the Little Mermaid now, as much as it's an iconic movie,
it's the plot with the Little Mermaid. It's not, the animation is
but
fine.
the animation is just all right. There was a disconnect at one point, and I wouldn't mind. But Glenn Keane was in charge of the animation of the Little Mermaid. Glenn Keane is a fucking god as far as animation is concerned.
Right.
Like he came over to our college when I was there, and he did a whole talk on animation. It was amazing. But that being said, like there was a weird drop in quality in some of the Disney films. It doesn't crack all the way through, and it kind of ebbs and flows. And then one film I hadn't seen in fucking years was Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah, it's such an odd little thing, and it is just great.
Gorgeous film.
Again, someone had a vision there, and they didn't fucking relent on it. You know.
Nope. An
It's
absolutely
really
beautiful, beautiful movie.
Yeah.
All the backgrounds are watercolors, and
oh my god!
There's the opening, there's the opening sequence where you see, you see Stitch, and he's in it's quite dark opening actually, of him escaping from space and getting to Earth, and his whole role of what he is, like he's a fucking villain, like he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He gets turned in the end of it, but the premise behind that is the fact that child services are going to take the kid away from the sister.
Yeah.
And
the sister is fucking up badly, and she knows she is, but she's just trying her best. Oh my god. Relatable content.
But it's like it's back when it was a darker Disney did have a dark moment there. They have darker times in their films and quite early on, and it's wacky to think that, It is wacky to think that.
It's wacky to think that the animation in Oliver and Company is worse than the animation they did in 1939. Like, it's,
And I think, and again, it's my memory's a bit fuzzy on this one, and I can't remember whether they shopped it out or not. They definitely shopped all of the sequels to the likes of South Korea and stuff. That went off abroad to get done. That wasn't, it wasn't done in the Disney studios in the States. They paid bottom dollar for that work, and it's clear when you watch it on a big fucking 50-inch TV that you're kind of going,
I'm glad I'm not a musician, so I can enjoy some of the bands I like, and I'm glad I'm not an expert in animation, so I can appreciate some of the cartoons I like as well, that kind of thing too.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, look,
people can tell when something's good and when it's not. Like it's
Yeah. In the same breath, though, I'll throw on any fucking Ralph Bakshi film, and that's all rotoscoped. That's all fucking tracing. It's all getting somebody to act it out and then just tracing over it. Like but still, Fire and Ice is still one of my favorite films to throw on because it's just so fucking.
Right.
I started watching Wizards again.
Yeah, Wizards as well.
Yesterday. Yeah. But you see, unfortunately, I wanted to watch it, and I waited till it was like 3:00 in the morning, and I was sitting there watching the first 20 minutes, going, "This is," and then I was like, "Oh, I need to go to sleep." But I'll finish it probably tonight. I'll go down. But it was just, I actually like that kind of rotoscoping kind of thing.
It's the same with Star Chaser and The Legend of Orion. That's another one from my
that's my list as well.
That's
I watched that when I was young.
But yeah, so I don't know. We've kind of gone off on the thing, but no, none of us have watched Clone Wars, Simon. Not yet. We're kind of.
We're getting through.
You're ahead of us.
I've heard all of the emotional outpouring about how amazing it is, and I agree that Dave Filoni should be in charge of everything when it comes to Star Wars, because we've seen everything else that he hasn't touched has been utter fucking just.
Hey
terrible.
guys, what about our absolute? I mean, I presume he's all of our heroes. Taika Waititi getting a movie.
Yeah, he's doing a new Star Wars film, writing and directing it. Yeah, that's interesting. Whenever that eventually kicks off, they're obviously picking back up the Star Wars mantle.
It is a shame that there's such a halt in production around the world. Like we're gonna have a lot of time to catch up with shit because things are not
gonna run out of stuff though.
Yeah.
I think there's enough stuff in the world for us to keep going. I don't have the fear of us running out of anything to keep us occupied anytime soon.
We were complaining that there was too much to watch.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot I was watching, which I have to mention again, not just in case people, because it is an old show. I've been rewatching Red Dwarf again.
Lovely.
I love that show. It's like it's comedy, so it's going to cheer you up. It's got loads of classic lines. Even as I said, I think it's 1989, I think it started. It's been going so long. I love the way that they've kept it, that they're not trying to make, when they brought it back, for season 9 and whatnot, they didn't try to de-age people. They just said, nah, the shit's going. Like, you just recently did a movie where where they finally bump into the cat race again, which is awesome. But I've been watching it from the start, and it hasn't aged. It's still as funny. The way with certain things you watch, there's certain jokes where you cringe, kind of going, oh, I can't believe they would not get away with that. There's none of that. It's all just pure gold. It's like the one thing I watched today is like where Lister's trying to break Crichton's programming, and he's like, what's this? And it's like, a pen. What's this? Glass. What's this? A guy trying to get a sandwich in IKEA. But he's, like, it's, and you're laughing your arse off because, and it's like there's like, where he's trying. I want you to. What do you think of Rimmer? He's a schmee. He's trying to say smeghead. He's Rimmer's trying to give him his driving license, and he's sitting there, and he's trying to say that you're a smeghead, but he's going like, you're a schmee, and it's just bits like that is just awesome. Or like,
I want to hear Wayne's schmee.
What? I walked back on this.
Red Dwarf, when Crichton's being taught how to break his programming, and this is trying to teach him, like he's holding up a pen going, that's a banana, and he won't say it, and then he's like talking about Rimmer, and he's like, come on, you can do it, and he holds up the smeg, and he goes, schmee, holds up the head, and it's like, but that's what's been keeping me sane as well. It's like I'm going through a month season 4 now.
If you're able to do it, right, that'd be an amazing cosplay for you to do. Will be fucking Crichton.
Crichton, yes.
You would be an amazing Crichton.
It's a lot of bing bags.
Bagsy Kachansky.
But yeah, or you could or Holly.
Or Holly.
When Ace shows up, what a guy, and he just turns and he turns to Holly and goes like, and who's this handsome computer? The look she gets, and she just, as I said, it hasn't aged. It's as awesome as it was. I want more, but that's the thing. We got the movie that just came out, and I'm just like, and I watched it. You finally meet the cat people, they catch up, and then I'm like, oh yeah, shit. When are we going to get more of this stuff? Because they haven't been filming it as far as I know, so it's like,
nobody's.
Yeah, there is like all the classics that we can go back and watch.
There's a lot. Of stuff I'm loving that stuff. There's a lot of stuff to keep us going.
Yeah, tons and tons.
Now we got a Twitter question from Derek Kyo. 1 second now, I'll bring it up here now.
Awesome.
Derek.
From Derek Kyo, the winner of our last giveaway on the Pubcasters.
Congrats.
I have been in contact with him, and I have told him that it will get out to him as quickly as we can get it out to him. And he's
Very good.
Yeah, so fair play, Derek. So Derek goes, with Justice League Dark Apocalypse War released this week, what was your favorite of the DC animated films?
All of them. No, Wayne, you would know. What's the one with the speech where Superman is saying that he doesn't have to hold back? He's fighting Darkseid, and he does this big. I think it's Darkseid, and he does this big huge speech.
That's in Justice League. That's in Justice League, the cartoon.
Yeah, but is that not what? Sorry, is that not what he's on about? The cartoon? What cartoon? Well,
look, Justice League Unlimited and the Justice League cartoon, all of the Warner Brothers DC animated cartoons.
Oh, good shit. I've watched it all, but
yeah, the speech I think is, I nearly swear it's in the Justice League cartoon. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it. I am aware of the speech. It's like he's basically saying, "Look, up until now, I've had to hold back, and the one thing about fighting you is I don't have to hold back anymore." And
it's awesome, and I've never forgotten that.
Puts him through a fucking building. It's amazing.
That's what's movie. Damn it.
And that's people always give out about, writers are giving out about the fact that you just can't write Superman. He's not interesting enough. Fuck you.
No, he is.
Yeah.
Superman is one of the best characters to write. One of the best characters to write, and anyone worth their salt would kill to write a Superman book.
Old-fashioned morality always has a place. If its heart is in the right place, it's easy to write in any world that he ends up in.
But I mean, Superman's been modernized now, and there's some modern day Superman books that are phenomenal stuff like that. Like he's a character of his particular time, but adapting him correctly for the modern era. I mean, right now is when we need that kind of moral support and a moral compass, like more than anything. So how can you not say Superman is not fucking relevant in the world we currently live in? It's an immigrant coming from somewhere else to live and create a better world for everyone else to be a part of and give hope. How is that not a symbol for now?
And be greeted with suspicion and fear.
There is a book that is dropped this week, I nearly swear. My mind again is drawing a blank. Thank you very much, Arthur, for doing that. But there's a book out this week, and hopefully it's going to be in stores for people to purchase, called Superman Takes on the Clan.
I've seen advertisements for that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hope he kicks the fucking
All
shit
in. All in.
Them lads would piss themselves if Wayne got out of the car. Like, what are they going to do with Superman standing there?
But yeah, no, my favorite all-time DC animated film, hands down, Mask of the Phantasm.
Where you got to finally see Joker bleed. Oh, I could not believe that.
But it's
a lovely story, but
it's so good. It's so good, and it's an old one now, and I'm not saying that they haven't topped it. Like, there's been some amazing. The actual original Justice League Dark one that came out a couple of years ago, that was fantastic. And there have been some really good ones along the years. The Green Lantern ones that they've done, I've really enjoyed, obviously. For the sake of anything that's Green Lantern, I'll just be like, gives that?
Yeah, gives that.
Gives that, please. But the Mask of the Phantasm, for me, will always be the yardstick, because it was the first one that kind of showed us that these animated films could be more than the sum of their parts. They could be something that they could tell a Batman story in a cinematic setting, but also be animated. And Batman animated series, I think, was either at its height at that point. It was like, it was like the kind of like, look at this fucking stuff, like, you know. And to have, I mean, Kevin Conroy is Batman. He is the best Batman in my mind, in any version. And he always will be. I don't think anyone's going to ever be able to top him. And we now have him in live action because he did it with the Arrow multiverse storyline that we had.
He did.
We got to see Kevin Conroy be, and we predicted that on Pubcast. We predicted that Kevin Conroy panel at Double Comic Con a couple of years ago when I got to host his panel, and I said it to him, would you jump at the chance to play Batman on the live screen? And he was like, fuck yeah. So, you know, not taking credit for that. I'm just saying, I called
you put the idea in his head, man.
That's what it was. That was me. It's all my fault.
It was you.
But
well, speaking from my slightly limited observations, I can tell you that both Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls are absolute stonkers, and well done, because my kids don't fight about I don't want to watch that.
Yeah,
it's cool. The one. They love both of them. I can see why people were so fucking annoyed. Sorry. Let's make that more technically correct. I can see why grown-ass fucking men were so annoyed when Teen Titans Go came out, because it's so unapologetically a show for very young children. But it's so, again, the voice acting is amazing. And it's so dynamic, it's so bright, it's so great, and I love their sidelong references to the actual Justice League. I really love it. And then DC Superhero Girls is an absolute fucking treat.
I bought the book. There's some books of those.
They're great. I
got them from my niece a couple of years ago. Or when the series first landed, actually, it was only literally just coming out, and there was a lot of books that came out on action figures and dolls. And I got the Wonder Woman one and some books from my niece at the time, and she still has them, still enjoys them. I like the mention of the man babies that were given out about Teen Titans Go, or the same.
Oh my god! Like,
they're the same milk that complained about Thundercats Roar. And
I know,
like,
and She-Ra's fucking.
She-Ra's awesome.
Like, it's not for you.
One of my favorite.
But I mean, here's the thing, though. She-Ra is of the caliber that it's for everyone. But you're right.
I totally agree. But if you you're trying to preserve the sanctity of the previous She-Ra. When is the last time you watched it? Jesus Christ! And like, Wayne, they just can't let people live.
No.
It's such a good show, but the design bothered them so much. It's not like it was Sonic the Hedgehog with a face full of human teeth. That was a legit outrage.
That movie was awesome.
An outrage. By the way,
Sonic movie was
glad they fixed it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You know, I think they did that deliberately, though, to get people talking about it. But you know, I really love that. I can't wait for the sequel.
The animators had to work overtime on that one.
We'll release a shit one, and then we'll release the one that everyone wants. You know, but a great. Jim Carrey was awesome as Eggman. I can't wait for the sequel.
So good. And fucking
I have to watch that again
James
now.
Marsden was acting his balls off in that.
See,
And you're like,
Marsden's used to that. You see, Marsden's used to being with the furry sidekick. He did it in Hop. He did it in Sonic the Hedgehog. He had the thing. He did it in X-Men when he had to stand beside Beast.
yeah,
It's a thing.
did.
Marsden has that role, you know. And
He's excellent.
Some might say he did it with what's her name? He was in a romantic comedy with one of those girls that all are interchangeable. Either you won off Grey's Anatomy or else Kate Hudson. I can't remember.
One of the Nicholas Sparks ones, he was in Enchanted as well, and he was so good in Enchanted.
He
Forgot about him in that.
amazing in Enchanted. He was phenomenal.
He is a Disney prince. He is a Disney prince.
But he's only like 4'2" or something. He's fucking tiny.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah, he had to stand in a box in every scene in X-Men he was in, because his love interest is Famke Janssen, who's like a fucking Amazon woman.
Oh yeah, she is.
And she's like, he had to stand next to her. And there's the scene in the fucking horrible bastardization that is the Phoenix Saga of X-Men Last Stand.
Right.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
Don't talk about that.
At the start of that film, where they're standing at a lake and they're kind of eye to eye. But like if James Marsden was to stand without the box next to Famke Janssen, it would be like this.
You'd be looking up. Yeah, it'd be like Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. He's reaching all right.
Oh man.
But yeah, like, so, man, we're big on the tangents right now.
Yeah.
It's allowed.
Well, it has, like, we legitimately are glad to see each other and just be podcasting again. Thanks for setting this up, Wayne.
Yeah,
thanks. Awesome.
Hey, look, we've been talking about it for ages, so we had to do it, like, you know.
Yeah.
And we can't just, like, as much as we're enjoying doing the D&D stuff, it kind of like that's every week we've managed to meet up for a D&D session, and we've no fucking excuse to say we can't do this. So, you know,
none of we can't find a pub.
Andrew McCarroll would like to know: would you go back to the cinema week one? I'm taking he means week one when
it opens up.
No. I miss it. I really miss it.
I really miss it.
No, I don't think I will again until they get the vaccine.
I think for me anyway, for sure.
Don't be like I don't have a bad asthma as you, Wayne. But I just don't want to bring it home. I've got asthma.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to get it.
You have asthma as well, Darren.
I have asthma as well. Yeah, but not as bad as Wayne. But like like I just don't want to risk it. Like that's why I was really worried, because you hear. Anyway, I don't want to talk about coronavirus, but I really missed the cinema. I used to go every Friday. You know me, I will watch any pile of shit, and good stuff as well. And I had the Cineworld card, so Friday would be go get a beer in the bar, then go watch a movie, then go get another beer in the bar and watch another movie. I do like.
Imagine having a pint and then sitting through a 2.5 hour movie, because nobody can edit fucking films anymore, so they're all 2.5 hours. Do you have to go to the bathroom halfway through?
I would say that there comes a time where, unfortunately, there's been a few cases.
That's.
But that's when you bring like 2 pints in with you, and you sit there, and you're not remembering. It's happened where you're not remembering that it's a 2.5 hour movie, and you neck the first pint, and you're like, deadly, and then you're drinking the second pint, and then suddenly it's.
The seal needs to be broken.
And and you're like,
believing in 2.5 hour movies, son. Because you're in one.
It's only happened once, but it was recent. But I can't remember what movie it was for. Because you see, I did a double bill and decided to have a few beers before going to see the first one. It was 2 horror movies, actually.
Here, you're gonna have to piss. You want to be bringing a shoulder of Bacardi in with you. That's what you want to do.
A couple of shots. But I miss the cinema. Really want to go back. Well, I don't. It's like I'm watching movies in the house.
Yeah, but we won't. In answer to Andrew's question, I think that was a unanimous no from all of us.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have it set up
pretty much
properly.
I think given everyone's current circumstances and the ability to be able to watch us whatever the fuck we want from home, and the fact that more and more films are now considering doing either delayed releases or
you see that,
doing delayed releases, or they're just releasing straight to home download.
Yeah.
On their own streaming services. And that's become more of a thing.
Trolls 2 made more money in the first week than Trolls in the cinema for 5 months. And Universal are kind of going,
Yeah.
But you know,
people are stuck at home. Why not? Like, they can't do it with their
I'll, if given the choice, if it was safe and I was given the choice to go to the cinema to see a movie, yes, I would go to the fucking cinema.
If there were 5 people in the screen, I would go.
But
and eat my nachos.
I guarantee that.
I'm waiting for you to go.
I guarantee that after all of this is done and there's a semblance of normalcy back, that social gatherings are going to be a fucking chaos. It's going to be like everyone's going to want to get outside. I may not join them because I never fucking joined them when everything was able to go outside. You know, I turned up at conventions and that was it. You had my Fonzie cameo then. That was all you got.
I'll be more sociable. I'm hoping that when things calm down, I'll definitely be more sociable and more available to see friends. But I won't be going to the pub anytime when it opens. I won't be going day one. Anyone that think because until there's a vaccine, I won't be going day one. No way in hell.
So that's a no from all of us, Andrew.
Yeah.
And Andrew was one of the many people that were up watching the UFC last night with no crowds. And hey, you know what happens when you watch UFC with no crowds? You hear the sickening crunch of people's bodies being tenderized. Like you can hear the cracking and the smacking and
I'm sure after a month of free Pornhub, everyone's used to that.
Is it as weird as wrestling? You know, because I found that really weird watching wrestling with no crowd.
Yeah, well, they're not punching people in the ribs and kicking them in the balls in wrestling. Well, not.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Apparently, somebody took the WrestleMania that happened. In the WrestleMania, because I'm not a wrestling person.
I don't know.
No, it's just other events. I think
something happened. No, but I think a big event happened and it was done without an audience.
Right.
And somebody took it and put the theme music of Twin Peaks over it. And apparently, it turned into an art piece. It was like supposed to be amazing. It's John Cena and some other wrestler having a kind of a face-to-face in the ring. And somebody put Laura Palmer's theme across it, and it's just like, and then at the end of it, like directed by David Lynch. But it was a case of it turned it into art. I have to find it and send it on. But
definitely.
That's excellent.
And our last question before we sign off from Sean Northridge: who is most likely to have turned secretly evil once the lockdown is lifted?
Lads, I don't think it's much of a secret that I'm the absolute most evil out of the lot of us. Like, I'm not even, there comes a point where I'm not even hiding it. Like, I'm just horrible.
Yeah, but most people
if I hang around with evil villains or anything.
No.
Who is that, Darren?
Shredder.
That's Shredder. I thought you would look more bigger with like, damn camera. It was meant to come out well. You'd have to be kind of right up. I'll work on it. Just if I do get it right next time, don't be act surprised, okay?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Speaking of voice actors, Kim, the guy who voiced that was Uncle Phil from the fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I only found that
of course it was.
Yeah, Uncle Phil from
makes all make sense now.
Mental stuff.
Wow. Who did? I wonder who did. I'm gonna look up who did Bebop and Rocksteady. Those voices were brilliant.
You'd be surprised. Like, I mean, back in the day, you still have a lot of like Frank Welker did it, and Peter Cullen did a ton of shit.
Frank Welker has 400 golden toilets, and he deserves every one of them because he's literally done everything that's been any good on the planet. Didn't he do Stitch? He must have done Stitch. He does all animal creatures.
He did a ton of. I remember I was watching. I don't know what the fuck I was watching recently with Amelia, but it was just all animal noises, and it got to the credits at the end, and it was like animal noises, Frank Welker, and you're like,
of course,
the fuck. Of course. Like Megatron doing all the voices of all the animals.
And then when Nibbler started talking in Futurama, and he goes, "I can not just speak, I can pontificate," and I'm like, "You're a fucking god."
Yeah. But sure, do you remember I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. West, Billy West,
Billy West,
at Dublin Comic Con a couple of years ago, and not only was he the nicest guy in the fucking world, literally the nicest guy in the world. He was there till the death. They had to literally carry him out of the place. He was still signing stuff for people, and the con had ended, and they were kicking people out, and he was still at this table going, "I'll sign whatever the fuck you want me to sign."
Oh, he's excellent.
That's what you want, though.
It was one of the
really
best panels I've ever had the pleasure of hosting. It was so good.
So good, Wayne. But Wayne, when you consider that these people, including am I really going to forget his name now? No, there we go. Kevin Conroy. Like, these people stand in a sound booth for video games.
Yeah.
And they do 403 different and like 50 laughs and like 200 grunts, and that's, I mean, you can't have an ego if this is how you're spending your time.
No,
like,
you can't.
It's so demeaning and so repetitive, but they're so good at it, and thank God for them.
And I'll bring it back to Critical Role on this one. This is to sell it. Not that I need to sell it to anyone because it's one of the most popular things on the internet. But for you guys, you don't watch it. No. It's literally a cadre of voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons.
That sounds awesome.
Well, it must be disappointing for you then, playing with like regular.
Are you kidding me? I take you guys over anyone.
Oh, shucks! Oh, you!
The whole point of Dungeons and Dragons is that you play it with your mates. It's got nothing to do with, like, you know, getting people that are well known or like fuck it. Like, you're enjoying yourself with your friends. It's the whole point of it.
They're not friends until you kill the dragon.
Onlyfans.com/pubcast.
That's also. I said they're not friends until you've killed the dragon with them. That's also a hint to make us fight a dragon. Although no. Currently, we're on dragon steeds. Don't kill the dragons. No, that'd be mean.
You don't want to be doing that. But no, look, like, this was long overdue. We had to do a pubcast. We had to get it done. And if we didn't get it done in currently as we're standing, we're like, fuck's sake, people would have killed us. Mm-hmm. There were asks and people asking us, could we go back and do one? And we have done one now. And we will probably more than likely get time to do more like this.
On a side note, I remember I was saying earlier, and I don't mind people on this, we did a big family clan of like the Zoom call on Friday, but I got talking to one of my cousins, and when he was younger, he lived with us for a while, and he got introduced to Dungeons and Dragons. We used to do it in our friend's house, like there was 8 of us, but he actually has and I'm always humbled when I hear this, but he started watching us Dungeons and Dragons. I think he's got a few episodes in, and he didn't, you know, it's not as if I'm like ringing him up, go watch it, you know. I was shocked but it was so nice, and he goes, yeah, Dar, I miss playing it and you know, all that, because he's a secret nerd, you know.
They're my favorite.
Like I've been just out of the blue goes, but I've been watching you doing D&D, and it's awesome. And I was just like, oh, thanks. But yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that's really cute.
It is. That is really cute.
And he's 37, so you know, it's like him being cute. He also got his hair cut as well, which is kind of shocking.
Yeah. By the way, the quarantine here is, I'm okay. There are days when I look like I've been kicked out of poison, but sometimes I get away with it. Brozzy looked like, my husband looked like his band was about to leave Huddersfield and go to America as part of the British invasion. And my son looks like he's about to ask somebody for some more in a Dickens novel. So it's been rough. But Rebecca's the only one who's really suffered.
Gone, so never do it yourself.
I did hers, and it's fine.
It'll be grand.
You have to tilt your head like that and look for it to be fine, or
her hair kept getting.
Oh yeah, it's great now.
You guys are looking pretty well preserved, I have to say.
Oh, shucks.
That's
all
good.
the compliments today. It's all rocked you.
Yeah, it's.
Well, the beard is pretty cool.
You're nice and neat here too, man.
Yeah.
I know I've had the hat on I've been wearing this hat all day, so I just didn't bother taking it off. So, but yeah, there's my bald head.
Anyone listening to this, please put your quarantine catastrophe hair in the comments, please.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Your disasters. I'll look like Barry Gibb in about 2 days.
Jesus.
You can Google that.
Well, that's the main thing. It's all about staying alive, really, isn't it? And on that note, folks.
We got the episode title in the last sentence.
I don't know. I was gonna call it like fucking "It's Been a While" because it, you know, it fits.
Let's put that song in the intro.
Oh God, no!
No!
God, no! Jesus.
Hey guys, I went to see Stained, supported by Puddle of Mud, and you've never seen the point more full of mutants in your life.
Oh man, did you see? Right, I know we said we're going to finish, but we have to talk about this, right?
Yeah,
because it was an exercise in pure fucking failed abortion. Your Puddle of Mud tried to cover Smells Like Teen Spirit for an acoustic session, and it was easily right. It was like one of those moments where you kind of, I was thinking about picking up the guitar while all this was happening and retraining myself and tuning, and then I saw this guy who was actually a paid musician, and he did that, and I went,
no.
He is a legit shit show and not representative of musicians. What range was he using?
It was just so, because I'd heard about it. People were like, I'd seen people post about it on social media, and it was like, Puddle of Mud tried to cover a Nirvana song, blah 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 blah. I was like, okay, well, they're
tried to being the operative phrase.
Yeah, it's like, okay, how bad can this be? Was he off key or what was it? And then I watched the video, and it was like, holy divine fuck, that was that couldn't, like, as bad as you think it could be, it was so much worse.
I think there's something wrong with your man.
You think?
I think your man is going
definitely the way he was fucking singing that. He looked like he had a hernia, or he had a hernia by the end of it anyway.
Was he very drunk?
No, he was in a fucking, I think he was in a fucking studio somewhere recording this, him and but nobody, you think clearly the guy has no friends, because your friends would go, here mate, relax it there a bit.
No, Harley's a horrible bastard.
He's a weapon.
Was it the Emperor's New Clothes moment where no one would say?
It definitely looked like that, because there were other musicians there and they had their pieces in, but maybe they were all turned off because they were all just playing away, and he was just like, that's how he sang the fucking song. I was like, it wasn't good.
He really needs to go to the bathroom.
It wasn't good. But anyway, on that wacky note, this has been Pubcast. I have been Wayne.
I've been Kim.
I've been Darren. Woo!
What we're going to do here is, because we did a Zoom call on this, we've recorded the video and the audio. So we're going to throw the video up on YouTube. Fuck it.
Yeah. So never get finger guns to people.
Yeah, you can see Kim's finger guns right now. And we're going to put the audio in the feed. We're going to do it the exact same day. It'll be up online tomorrow at some point. Once I clean it up a bit, make sure everything's hunky-dory and all our audio feeds are good.
Next week we'll have our first band practice. Wayne on bass, me on ukulele, Darren on fiddle. It's going to be heavy on strings.
Rock fiddle.
It's going to be for no one. So
Sponsored by Pornhub.
Yeah. Oh God. Dear Lord in heaven.
Yeah.
That'll be the Spank cast.
And the question for the competition is, how many times have you said no, my job?
But no, folks, if you get a chance, if you're into Dungeons & Dragons, if you haven't checked it out yet, please check out the Pubcast Dungeons & Dragons feed, also on our YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram, but I've forgotten how to sign into Instagram as the Irish Pubcast, so I no longer can sign in as that. I need to reset it. I really should. Also check us out on roguecomicsIreland.com is where our main Pubcast feed is. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, you can find us where you find all good podcasts. Yeah, you can all good podcasts. So you have us on Spotify, you have us on iTunes, all the Stitcher. Android, Stitcher, all of those malarkeys.
You'll also find us at home.
And you'll find everyone at home, because that's where you need to stay.
Yes.
Stay safe and look after yourselves. Look after your loved ones.
Indeed.
Wash your hands, particularly if you've been watching Pornhub. Wash your hands.
Before and after, people.
Before and after. And we will see you on the flip side. And keep an eye out on our social medias for any further announcements for what's going forward with Pubcast.
Woo!
Bye!
Right.
Laters!